Oh, an air of genuine uncertainty and excitement here at Etihad Stadium as the Saints and the Giants get ready for battle. It is a very warm day in Melbourne, roof open, and both sides coming off emotional wins, particularly the Giants. And obviously they've stocked full of tall youngsters, and it's going to be interesting to see in their forward line whether they, with some supply led by that man Shane Mumford, who's a real leader at the club, can get enough of the footy and put enough goals on the board to record their first ever win in Melbourne. Cameron Mooney loved getting here and strutting his stuff out on Etihad Stadium, and he joins us this afternoon. Moons?
Thank you, Hutto. It is a beautiful 20 degrees today. Look, we're seeing a little bit of cloud just starting to come over the top here, so the sun getting in the eyes of the players probably won't be as bad as we're thinking. Seeing the toss there, Riewoldt kicking down to the locket end. And look, I want to talk about Nick Riewoldt. Look, his game last week versus Melbourne was just outstanding. 23 possessions, the 12 marks and the 3 goals, as we know. Look, they'll be looking obviously more from that today. Without Phil Davis down there, they might just struggle down there today, the Giants. They're really going to have to, Sam Frost, Nick Haynes, these type of young guys are really going to have to step up, playing against, as we all know, one of the great players in the competition. Then you go down the other end. We talk about the old and the new. You talk about the new guys down there, Jeremy Cameron and Jonathan Patton. Absolutely outstanding young prospects. Last week, Patton 3 goals with 13 possessions, and we know Jeremy Cameron, he only had the 9, but kicking the 4 goals in the wet against a guy like Teddy Richards, an outstanding performance. And against St.Kilda, what are they going to do? Delaney is probably going to have to go to Patton, big job. But with Cameron, you've got Dempster, Wilt and Robertson. All 3 of them, I suspect, at one stage will all see some time with him.
Good on your Moons. Tough match to pick, this one, Jason Dunstall and Brad Johnson. Really tough.
Not much in it. I really enjoyed those pictures of Shane Mumford talking to the players. He's the sort of bloke that players want to follow, because he goes into every contest looking to have an impact, looking to put body on body, and if he can't get the ball, he'll get the player. So I really weighted up. Maybe more out of hope went for GWS. John, I don't know about your good self.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. Just for the Giants today, it can go either way. Nick Riewoldt spent more time inside forward 50 last week, still took the 12 marks, got on the scoreboard and had an impact. See, Clint Jones is down in the forward line, will play today and get up and free that bit more of a free run again, which was good to see. It was his 39 disposals last week. Hopefully he can follow that up.
They've loaded up the forward line with height. Giles is going to start forward with Cameron and Patton, and then the pressure players, Addison and Devon Smith at their feet, and the brilliance of Lockie Whitfield. So it is a potent forward line in that 50 for the Giants as they seek history once again after their big win over the Swans in round 1. They're taking on St Kilda, trying to win their first ever game in Melbourne. It'll be a big battle in the ruck between Hickey and the man we talked about in Mumford. Now, Hampton, no one on the mark, so there's a little mini win. Long kick down to Giles. He's got to combat Wilt, who removed him from the contest illegally.
Free kick coming back, so it'll be a shot for the Giants. Really interesting matchup. Sam Gilbert has got Jeremy Cameron. That's going to be a massive task. But you mentioned that height, Hutto. Well, there's the first signs of it. If you've got height, use it. Get it long, get it down there quickly. So it's a one-on-one contest, and Wilt just couldn't get the front position, manhandled him.
And whoever plays on Dempster needs to be careful today, because he's already shown his hand that he's going to get back and try and help out as much as possible. So his teammate needs to be used.
So Giles comes in and puts the first goal on the board. Outstanding start for the Giants. Energetic start.
Great work by Jonathan Giles. And in the NAB Challenge, Chase, he played back for a lot of it. Yep. So in round 1 last week, everyone thought, well, Giles may start back because Mumford's back in the lineup. Where's his best position? But Leon Cameron playing tricks and did well. Put him straight up forward. He had an impact last week. And straight into the contest now, gets a free kick for being dragged out of that by Gwilt, and was able to go back and nail the first goal for the Giants.
Indeed, Giles played back against St Kilda when these two sides met less than a month ago in the NAB Challenge. He played against Billy Longer, who played up forward that day, rotating in the ruck. But he's starting in the forward line today. There's some good service down to Ward, but can't shake off the pressure that's applied. We'll have another bounce.
Sam Gilbert's got the matchup on Cameron at the moment, and when Sam Gilbert 3 or 4 years ago was absolutely flying, these were the type of matchups that he would thrive on.
Young Dunstan in there getting his hand to the ball. Ricocheted off the Nunes. St Kilda surging for the first time. Haynes leads Riewoldt to the ball, so big challenge for young Nick Haynes. And here's Josh Hunt in game 200, the dual premiership player. Just showing, using his guile there to get the ball over the boundary line.
Yeah, it is a great opportunity and learning curve for Nick Haynes, as you said, Hutto, but I love the way he took front spot away from Nick Riewoldt. That's what you've got to do, because that's his bread and butter.
We had 21 disposals last week and 5 rebounds. Haynes, so he can certainly run and carry the footy. Now it's up for grabs in the middle of the ground. Gilbert lost it. Robertson got it on to boot. Here's Riewoldt, plenty of attention on him. Clint Jones coming off 39 disposals last week. There's some high contact there across half back. And the Giants are going to be able to flick it around. Free kick going against Riewoldt initially. And then Hampton's able to move it on. And now they can come away through Heath-Shaw. Up to the wing. Giles looks likely to take that. He couldn't complete the job. Here's Gwilt trying to link up with Big Hickey. Heard the call from behind from Nunes. Had good support from Gwilt. There's a free kick. The advantage paid and taken. Into the middle. Angled kick for Clint Jones. Gets away and can use the resources running from behind him. Linking up with Delaney initially. And then Farron Ray has been in good ball-winning form. Montagna back in the team. And now they can run through Templeton. Didn't he make an impression last week?
Oh, yeah. A little bit of class around goal, hasn't he?
10 disposals and a goal in his first game. Back to Delaney as they try and find a way. Now, they've got some numbers out this side of the ground. A bit sloppy, the kick.
Still got a loose out wide.
Nunes has been prominent so far. Works it to the wing, finds Armitage.
This is good defence from GWS because they're making St Kilda go back and across, back and across. They're not actually taking ground.
Gilbert, careful kick to Riewoldt. That won't worry the Giants too much if Riewoldt's getting all his possessions this far from home. Back again for Armitage.
Great work from Dunstan on that occasion to allow Armitage to get out a young player putting a block on for a more senior player.
That's well worked by the Saints for all the good defence. St Kilda just about within striking range. Now they are, although you can see the angle for Lee Montagna is going to be very, very tight.
It is, but you don't leave a player like Montagna in the clear like that for the little chip kick. You make most to try and kick it from outside 50.
And it was just a couple of lapses. You mentioned how good they were setting up defensively. It's just when they got that one little over tap with Armitage getting out, it created some space for Montagna to work into.
Suspended in round one. 29 disposals per game on average last year, Lee Montagna. A wealth of experience and skill. And St Kilda answer with their first.
Well, that's exactly what we're talking about. Class players, you can't afford to give them an inch of room. That is just inexcusable. You can see in the lead-up space that Meister had, and then Josh Hunt's got his back to play. I mean, he won't like the look of this. Yes, you can say he's looking to cut off the lead coming up, but he had his back to play and he didn't realise what was there. And that was Lee Montagna in space, just waiting to kick a goal.
He loves Etihad Stadium as well. Averages 28 disposals here at Etihad Stadium, 19 uncontested possessions and five inside 50. So loves playing on this deck, does Lee Montagna.
Well, the Saints have over the years too, haven't they? Ward gets them out of the middle. The Giants out to half forward. Patton beaten to it by Delaney. Delaney moved it nicely to Ray, charging along that city wing. It was a bit of a rush old kick in towards Templeton at half forward. Couldn't take it, but they've got some good numbers. Saunders to ground, but he's up again quickly. Feeding Riewoldt. Shakes off the tackle from Canelio. Good support from Hampton. Back again to Riewoldt. They're flipping it around. Templeton, prominent so far, so too Farron Ray. Off the left boot, heaves it up into the 50. Raced it over the top, Armitage. Wow, what about that for a little bloke? He kicked 4 against them last time.
That's out of nowhere. That is massive.
Have a look at the lift he gets.
Oh, the little pop there in the hang.
No, he's got a bit of a knee concern, but you wouldn't know it from that.
I think we've got a bit of blood here coming from Bo Meister as well, it might be.
Come on for it.
Well, he was coming from the side in that contest as well, Meister. That's him on the deck there holding his head. You can see.
Blood from the face.
Yep.
Right colour scheme anyway.
We'll need a new jumper as well.
Okay, he's right now.
So David Armitage, not known as a high flyer.
No, you don't expect that. But this would cap a terrific start for the Saints.
Cracking day for footy here at Etihad Stadium. The sort of day you might fancy yourself to jump up and take a big hanger, which Armitage did. A mark like that deserves a goal. And he's found an interesting path to get there, but it's through, and that's all that matters.
Well, he had a tough day of it last week with Montagna and Hayes out of the lineup, then Melbourne went to him and were able to restrict his influence in some ways. It wasn't his best performance, but looking for a big game today as well. A bit more of a free run, and that's just a huge jump. Oh, that's a big grab, and look at that. He gets a bit of a ride on the back as well of Haynes. So, and more importantly, went back and nailed the goal to complete a good start for St Kilda.
It's a little bit like he got up there and thought, what am I doing up here? As you said, Jono, restricted to just 14 disposals last week. A little bit of a nagging knee issue, but really bold start from him so far. Mumford got the last touch, but again, the Saints on the break out of the middle. Jones for Templeton, done most of his work on the other side of the ground so far, but here he is on the dock side. Giants just struggling to get their hands on the footy cleanly at the moment. Hampton really took them on and was a little fortunate to get away with that, but he was able to. Not too constructive, their handball off half back. And it's going to end in a ball up, or maybe holding the ball, and the Giants free.
Well, they get 33 disposals to 10 in the early part of the game.
They've had 5 matches here for 5 losses. A percentage of only 38 in their games here. Now Ward, he feels like he's got Hickey covered. The big bloke pursued him well. Handball went to Green, who has to just adjust the equation. And it wasn't a great kick. It fell nicer, didn't it, for Whitfield, who, Treloar, under some stress and strain, couldn't get a clean possession. And it's out of bounds.
It was a strange kick from Toby Green. He had a couple of options and in the end kicked it in between the two of them.
So Curran with the roll on Treloar, keeping a really tight rein on him so far. Giles, brilliant. Got it down, and Whitfield, not a #1 draft pick for no reason. What a goal.
Well, over the top, Chase, it was a fantastic stoppage set up from the Giants on that occasion, and Whitfield was able to push free here. You see him working through the contest there, able to get away from Nathan Wright, and was able to kick a nice goal. And that's good work there. You see that a lot with West Coast with their tools, and the Giants with Mumford holding the Giles coming over the top as the big, was able then to hit it into some nice space where Whitfield was able to work into.
So Lockie Whitfield, he really looks like he's maturing into an outstanding player, still only 19 years of age. Described the round 1 win as the best moment of his footy life, but looking and hungry for more. Treloar up to the 50. Addison can't quite give Dempster the slip. Oh, head down, Geary just charging in, fearless. There's a few blokes coming up second best after that. Young Curran
Back this way.
limps back into it, trying to get onto Treloar. Hickey trying to give him first use. Giants circling on the 50. Scully, Mumford.
Pretty fierce, as you'd expect,
Straight up.
particularly early on.
Thanks, Shane. Back this way.
Nathan Wright with the job on Tom Scully at the moment. There's Hayes back in the team. Good tackling from Lenny, you'd expect nothing else. Devon Smith, Mumford, Jones, straight to Cornelio. Can stretch it with Green. Knew that he couldn't go really long and he adjusted the kick.
Right.
That's a much better effort from Toby Green.
Yeah, exactly the same sort of thing. Picked the right option and then hit the target. He didn't do it the first time, but credit to him, he made amends the second time. He just took a little bit longer to see what was going to unfold, saw the space and then just popped it over the top. That's a clever kick.
It is, it's very clever, and they're proactive around the stoppages as well. They're not just standing and waiting to see what's going to happen, waiting for a teammate to do the work. They're all working together and getting out of that contest as well.
It's Devon Smith, his first year in AFL footy, 10 goals, 19. His second, 16-11. Things are on the up for Devon Smith.
Well, this has been a great start to the game. I mean, both teams deadly in front of goal. We've had 5 straight goals kicked in the first 10 minutes or so. Just outstanding stuff. And their score, look, that's 3 inside 50s for 3 goals for GWS.
And Jeremy Cameron hasn't touched the ball yet.
Yeah, and 4 inside 50s for 2 goals for St Kilda. So, see, the efficiency going forward is very good.
Yeah, high-scoring game so far. Only early stages. Both sides deadly in front of goal. The Giants lead by 6. Giles takes his turn in the ruck against Stanley with the athleticism. Wrapped him up pretty well, did Big Giles. Oh, Geary cracking in again. And I think it was almost a combination free kick against the two Saints to the man known as Cement Head at the Bulldogs.
He was Cement.
Callum Ward. He's shown why over the years. Cameron, he had about the focus of three Saints defenders. He's still got it on the ground level. And here's Smith, Devon Smith. And first blemish of the day. Wasn't a bad effort nonetheless.
Gee, they're kicking to big packs up forward too. It's going to be hard to take a mark in that GWS forward line if there's a pack of 8 or 10 going for it every time.
Should mean there's some options for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So they've got to look for the little hit-up targets.
Gwilt, he does look for a hit-up target. And who better than that man, Nick Riewoldt?
But again, if he's marking inside the defensive 50, I don't think Leon Cameron's going to be too worried about that. They don't want to allow this change of direction, though.
Affecting the switch with Dempster. And now Nunes. Scully manning the mark vigorously, arms waving around as he goes short to Jones. Was pretty steadfast in his efforts. Well done, Farron Ray. Just got himself a quick meter, and that was pretty telling in the end. Curran and Ray again. Pressure building, though. Cornelio has to release quickly or else shake off the tackle. He chose the ladder. You can see it's going to drop out the back. Patton was onto it. So was Smith. He turned them inside out, Devon Smith. 3 shots at goal for 2 goals, 1.
Well, they're up and around the ball at the moment. The Giants pushing forward. Then Devon Smith was able to get onto it. I think Robertson will not want to look at this again. Going to ground in the goal square. He takes best position here on Devon Smith. Doesn't pick up the bounce. Goes to ground. Out of the contest. The ball goes straight over his head. So he needs to do better defensive work. But it's around this contest here where GWS have started to take the initiative over the last 2 or 3 minutes of play.
Hey guys, just a bit of an update down here. Bo Meister still hasn't come up from down underneath the rooms, which is really affecting their rotations at the moment. Tom Hickey just tried to come off and got told to go straight back down to full forward line. So still not up here yet, guys.
I suspect he may need a stitch or two. I don't know how that wasn't
holding the
incorrect
ball.
Disposal. Yeah, certainly had prior opportunity.
Interesting to hear Michael Voss say during the week that perhaps they were getting close to overcorrecting the umpires on the number of free kicks, but I think that's just a mistake. They just missed it. Free kick to Cameron.
Well, now that they don't have the extra tall forward, Mumford comes off Giles into the ruck. Gwilt has swung on to Jeremy Cameron after Sam Gilbert started there.
Move it on.
Well, deep target is Patton, but he decided, he was attempting to go short to Townsend, who tried to flick it back to Cameron. They made a bit of a meal of that. Saints are going to get out of there through Dunstan and Montagna. Now the dash provided by Gilbert. Good running, stretching out.
Got no one ahead.
Saunders put him to the turf once.
Great chase.
And he's just given the latitude to get a handball away. Plowman tried to push Riewoldt out of the road.
Well, you can't blame him for not kicking it because there was nobody inside the attacking 50, only a GWS player back, so he had no options.
Adam Kennedy, absolutely sensational on that occasion.
Brilliant.
That chase down was fantastic. Yes, he was held up because no one was forward of the ball, but didn't give up on the chase.
Really good running, even away from the ball by Tom Scully there. You just saw him before on the bottom of our screen. He's going to take the mark now. He was clearing space for his teammate and making sure they could hit targets on the way out. He tries to do it for Patton. He couldn't get the grip on the footy for long enough. Delaney with him every inch of the way. It was because it was against the Saints last time that Patton injured himself. Jono, you wanted to highlight this?
Oh, just the fact you just love. You can see it in his eyes too, and that's what it's about.
Yep.
Heath Shaw was in behind. He was able to take over the mantle from Heath Shaw and continue with the chase. That was effective.
Well done, Mumford, initially to get the handball up. Now Plowman getting his opportunity today. Not a good kick.
No, it wasn't the right spot to kick it either. A quick turnover now.
There was a whole host of Saints, and they can dash off half back right. Was almost dragged down. Josh Hunt going to be tested here against the young legs of Saunders. He broke him, and he probably could have kept on running once he got off the chain from Hunt.
I think Nick Riewoldt might just be having a word saying, mate, we don't need miracle bananas on the run. We'll play the percentages and bring the ball back in field.
That's where he could have kept going there. You see the space in front of him. Got away from Hunt. Probably didn't realise that he'd gone to ground.
Thomas Bugg, as they guide the footy up to half back.
Hutto, Jonathan Patton just walking around the boundary line a little bit gingerly after he hit that fence. It's 105 kilos, just about knocked the bloody thing over.
Well, I mentioned it was against St Kilda in round 3 up at Manuka last year where he injured the knee and missed the rest of the season. There's Ward trying to bustle his way through. Mumford. Oh, bit of a whiplash there almost. And Smith play on the call. Tackle came from Hickey, and now the big number one's getting the handball out, and the Saints ganging up on the wing, sharing it amongst each other. Dempster, Montagna, and now Armitage. Swings it back into the middle. Jagiri again.
Good kick, opens up the ground, that one.
Just a reluctance to come this side. Gwilt does go there eventually. Gilbert, now Robertson. Oh, it's going to go close to the boundary and over. Handy, if you want to come off for a rotation, that's what he's going to do.
Jonathan, here we go. Same distance.
Gee, the ruckmen stay a long way back. Boundary umpire hurls it back into play. And it's fallen well short. We saw this continually in the last match I called here, where the boundary umpire's throws were overestimated. Dunstan getting the full ring around the NAB Rising Star from round one. Handball from Josh Hunt. Play on the call from the umpire. Ray and then Geary as they start to stretch it out. It opens up for Delaney. Jones. Now Riewoldt wants it long. Jones decides to go via Templeton. Big Giles has planted his body in front of Riewoldt. Templeton's kicked to him, but Nick had to cover a lot of kilometres or a lot of metres to get that far up the ground.
Toby Green needs to be careful. Well, it's been held up now. It was Armitage calling for it long.
Hickey's gone out of the square as well, but he's decided to pass to Ray. Again,
Unmarked.
that's a bit loose, isn't it?
Yeah, unmarked.
Toe, just here, mate.
And Ray just trusts his left foot. Outstanding result for the Saints. From Farron Ray, who I think really feels like it's almost a chance for him to finish his career over the next 3 or 4 years, perhaps even, as a real senior player at St Kilda, given the vacuum that's been created by the loss of some of their experienced guys.
Yeah, he's become an important player for them, and he does provide terrific run. You'll watch him drift here.
There he is.
He'll just come straight through traffic, and no one picks him up. A few of them pointing, but no one goes. But the quality of finishing today has been first class.
8 shots a goal for 7 goals.
You could see Riewoldt in that vision as well. He picks it up at the right time, just sees the float of Farron Ray. That movement just gets into the kicker's vision.
And that's how 2 of St Kilda's 3 goals have come by so far, isn't it? From those little passes into the 50. We saw it on this side with Montagna, and then on that side with Farron Ray.
In the back.
Ooh. Just lying on top of him.
That's Townsend. Goes to
One of those
Armitage.
that could have gone either way.
6 disposal for Armitage. He wobbles one straight to Callum Ward. And it was a risky kick, given that it only takes him to half-back, but it's no damage done. He finds Devon Smith.
This is where Stanley needs to work. He's got an opportunity on Mumford. He worked hard forward then, but now he could be on centre wing here, creating an extra number if they need it as the big ruckman for St Kilda at the moment.
Well, Meister was good then, outpointed Heath Shaw, who didn't really read it all that well. Back for Gilbert, poked at the Hayes, some danger there. And ends okay, thanks to Gilbert and Gwilt, and now Dempster. So some experience combining there along the line to Ray and Meister. Oh, smashed into each other. Lucky for the Saints that Meister was able to hang on there, and he did it with really good resilience. Took the grab. Riewoldt wants it long. Oh, that's not the service he was after. Ball, real fluky bounce, could have gone anywhere. Ward kept it moving. Whitfield angled the left foot. That's going to be a free. So Montagna. So he didn't pay advantage, but Montagna took his own version of advantage and kicked it to Ray. Riewoldt calls for it in the pocket. That's where it's headed. 2 against 1. Haynes was the second. Some more on John Patton. Oh, hang on, we might just stay with this, Moons.
Trust you to stay with the blue, mate. I'll come back to you with Patton in a minute.
Probably something you're interested in normally yourself, actually, I would have thought, Cam.
That's why I thought you went down to Moons, Hutto.
Hayes, back to Gwilt, who's a powerful left foot. Now, it was one-on-one for a while. That changed as Kennedy arrived.
Farron Ray slow to get up. He's had a couple of heavy knocks the last couple of minutes. That's right down the centre.
Dylan Addison picked him off.
Yeah.
2 former Bulldogs. And their paths would have crossed for a couple of years, I imagine, Jono.
Yeah, they
way
did.
back. Scully, well, it was the blind kick. It was get it out of there, but oh, that's 50. Against Whitfield. Straight over the mark.
They hurt those ones. I mean, you're not in the contest. You're not allowed to go over the mark.
No. That's where you need to set, come back, and then create your arc towards the middle. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to cover the corridor because he knew that's where St Kilda had numbers, but that's where you've got to stop and then start to work a bit of an arc from a stationary position. If you run straight over, it's 50 metres.
Mark's here.
So the big man, Tom Hickey, come in to shoot for goal. From 30 metres out, it is a ruckman, but it is a good kick. And that's the way things are rolling today.
It's really fluctuated this quarter in terms of the dominance. Either side have certainly had their moments. It started with St Kilda, and then the Giants had that 10-minute patch where they were able to get a couple of goals on the board, and now St Kilda have been able to respond with some good pressure up forward, locking the ball in. Great setup defensively. Hickey as the ruckman, and there's the 50-metre penalty. If that wasn't the case, they would have been able to get the ball going forward anyway. So St Kilda in control at the moment.
Moons?
Yeah, Hutto, look, I said earlier when Patton hit that fence, he hit it with a lot of force, and just been watching him since. He's been walking around very gingerly. The trainers have been out to him over the last few minutes, so just keeping an eye on him at the moment, but not moving too flashily, in all honesty.
Patton and Cameron not a factor so far in this game. Giants, though, lead only by a point. Oh, Hickey, gee, I felt he might have created that himself with the head down, but anyway, it's across to Hayes, and the kick to half forward. Honing in on big Reece Stanley. He's such a tease when he does things so well. He looks like he's just chock full of talent. And then, unfortunately, he can turn things around and turn things over as he did there.
Well, that's one of those occasions of being a little bit too Riewoldt conscious. If he's got two men on him, that means there's got to be free space and free players elsewhere, and they just didn't look enough.
Kennedy to Plowman, and the ball over the line out of bounds. There's an example, perhaps where a free kick may have been paid in the past, but not anymore.
Stay your distance.
What an experience for young Plowman to be playing on Nick Riewoldt. He and Haynes seem to be swapping in that role at the moment. There's a bit of angst with Bo Meister too down towards the goal square.
Well, with Stanley back there now, Giles has had to go back and play as a tall for the Giants.
Mumford just hoisted it up towards the wing. Gilbert made the break, but Cameron waited at the back and paid some dividends. Patton back to Cameron, which means there's nothing up the ground. I haven't even got the footy at the moment to get it there. Good sneaky play, and again, Gilbert, he's run down.
Just dropped it as he was thinking about kicking it.
You never quite know what's going on with Sam Gilbert, do you? As Hayes goes really wide, searching for Stanley.
He's paid the mark. But the boundary umpire's
paid out of bounds.
Going to say it was juggled over.
Okay, throw it in.
Bobbled out, I think he's saying. Saints fans not happy. Let's have a look. Yeah.
Oh, good call.
Brilliant service from Mumford to Ward. He thumps it to half forward. They're outnumbered here, but very clever Cameron. We know that on the ground. Addison went looking, searching, hoping for somebody to come. And that someone was Devon Smith to Patton, again surrounded by Saints. And now Treloar to take it from Smith. Instant handball, Scully. Trouble following the ball as far as the Giants were concerned. It's good pressure, but that's a bad turn. Giles heaves it into the pocket for Cameron. This way and that. Sneaks out the back. Couldn't do enough with it. He would have been pretty tired. He'd worked hard up to the wing and then back again. How do we assess this first quarter, guys? The inside 50 count is 11-7 in favour of St Kilda. The Giants in front by 2.
They've only gone inside 7 times. They've had 6 scores, GWS, so they get enough ball forward. They're going to do some damage.
It's around the stoppages at the moment where GWS just have that advantage, and especially the scores from stoppages there just in front of St Kilda at the moment.
Townsend back to Bug. Off the left, Ward. Good work from Gwilt. Outstanding spoil. Patton didn't want to let Jones go, but couldn't affect the tackle effectively enough. Jones just jammed it on the boot. Now Nunes, they're starting to run. Riewoldt's on his bike. He goes short of that.
Everywhere.
Armitage, Meister, he's ready to fly over the top of Frost. Wasn't a good kick. Frost summed that up really well.
That's a really poor kick. He had short options on and he had the long option, and he didn't hit either of them.
We're down to 2 minutes 20. Kennedy for Patton. Good hard fought mark out on the wing in front of Delaney. Jonathan Patton, 3 goals, 5 inside 50s in round 1. Great to see him fully fit. And he and Cameron are going to scare some opposition in years to come. And Tom Boyd's there as well. That'll be a very dangerous combination if they can fit them all in the one forward line.
Well, the thing with all three of them is they actually move quite well, so they're not just going to be the big bear in the square. They actually can each play a role within the side.
And the Saints maintaining possession now. Gilbert from Gwilt. 10 disposals to Ward, 7 to Mumford for the Giants, 9 to Armitage. Team high for the Saints. 8 to Ray. This man, Lee Montagna, up for possession number 5. Kicks to the wing to Riewoldt.
Beautifully weighted.
Back 2, thank you.
4 marks for Nick Riewoldt. 6 disposal coming up. No goals yet. Kick goes to half forward with 1:13 on the clock. And that's another good grab early for Reece Stanley. And he pumps it long. And they've got an opportunity through Hickey. Mumford couldn't quite get back far enough.
He paid the mark.
Yeah, he's paid it.
I'd like to see a replay because I'm not sure he did hold it all the way down, Jono. But anyway, he pushed forward, and the good thing from Stanley was that he moved the ball quickly before it got too crowded. He was effectively able to have a one-on-one contest before the rest of the players got there.
I think the initial kick was heading towards Farron Ray, who had Green as his direct opponent. Overhead would have been stronger, but Hickey did well to move back into the space.
Hickey for his 2nd goal in the 1st quarter, and enough to give St Kilda the lead as we head towards quarter time.
You're right about that movement, Jace, and that's where they've been able to get the ball moving a lot more freely in the last 5 minutes of play. Riewoldt's been a big reason for that with his lead-up work. Stanley then comes in behind him, and he identifies Hickey. Farron Ray's in behind there, and here's the grab.
You cannot tell me that's a mark. You cannot tell me he controlled that all the way to the ground.
There was a bit the umpire didn't see, I think, there.
Holds it, drops it. No, it's dropped.
Take him when you get him.
That's right.
So perhaps a little fortunate, Tom Hickey, but it's in the book. And the Saints lead by 4. Big jump early from Hickey wasn't enough to affect the tap out. Hayes still doing it after all these years. Gave it to Townsend. So an opportunity with 15 left for the Giants. They needed a bounce to go their way. Dempster and Shaw. Oh, that's close to deliberate. Wow. Didn't know you were allowed to handball it out of bounds from a foot away.
Tipping if there was a bigger GWS contingent here today, that would have been a bit of an uproar.
Well gathered by Smith. He doesn't have much time to work in. Cornelio, will he sense that? Oh, they've got a long way out from goal. Hampton will need something special. And the siren's going to sound. The Saints will be happy overall with their performance, given that they were behind for a fair bit of the quarter. They got beaten in the clearances, but they lead on the scoreboard where it counts. 5 straight goals, the Saints. 4-2-26, the Giants. Thoughts from Brad Johnson and Jason Dunstall when we return to Etihad Stadium. Quarter time at a sunny Etihad Stadium on a Saturday afternoon in round 2. And St Kilda lead 5 straight 30 to the GWS Giants. 4-2-26. Armitage and Ward getting plenty of the footy in the opening term. Jason Dunstall and Brad Johnson. The victory for either of these sides, obviously they'll be 2-0 after round 2, and so there's a lot at stake for these sides.
There is. It'd make for an outstanding start of the season, and both teams absolutely desperate to grasp that opportunity. It's been an entertaining first quarter, John. I've actually thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been quite open. I think where St Kilda have really got a hold of GWS is on the turnover, particularly from half back. They've created a lot of run and rebound. They're dominating in marks and uncontested possession. So once they're winning the footy, they're able to control it a little bit.
They are, and they just need to work around the clearances now. That's where they need to pick up their work, the Saints. That's where the Giants on the flip side have been able to control things. The number of stoppages, they were good last week in that area as well, and they've been strong once again today, especially with their scores from 3 goals. So that's where the Giants have been able to get their advantage in today's game.
And both back sixes under pressure.
Certainly are. Let's get to Cameron Mooney with his thoughts on the Saints veteran Moons.
Yeah, thanks, Harlow. We spoke about at the start of the quarter, the old versus the new, and Riewoldt versus Cameron and Patton. And Cameron and Patton have only had the 1 mark. Riewoldt, on the other hand, he's had the 4 marks. He's had the 6 possessions. The only problem with that, though, he's getting them all up the field as we're watching here. He's leading up really well, taking his marks, but the only problem, he's not getting any possessions inside 50. He's been double teamed, triple teamed any time that it's inside there, and as we know, he's such a great player, you don't want to get him the ball anywhere inside 50. So you can see it here again, all these young boys, they're putting so much pressure on him around inside 50. Fantastic work. Again, he's getting his marks up around the ground. I don't think Leon Cameron would be too disappointed with that. He's going to get his hands on the ball plenty of times. You're better off letting him get his marks up around the 50 back or up around the wing, not allowing him to get marks inside 50.
Yeah, it just works so hard non-stop, Nick Riewoldt, doesn't he? A couple of experienced players that haven't really weighed in for GWS. Jono, talk about Josh Hunt in game number 200, who's only had the one possession, and Heath Shaw, who they rely on so much for rebound, run, and also on-field leadership. Just the 2 possessions. They've had no impact.
No, none whatsoever at this stage. And haven't really seen Heath Shaw, which we know he can do, really burst through the middle of the ground, or he usually pushes hard from that defensive end. He gets out to the wings, out to the logos, and pushes extremely hard. There's their premiership experience on screen. We know Mumford, Heath Shaw, and Josh Hunt. Mumford's had a bit of an impact in this game so far, but Shaw and Hunt, they need to get their work rate up.
Both played key roles in that round 1 win over Sydney. Mumford's certainly competing as he always does, but they need a lift out of Hunt and Shaw.
He's had 4 tackles already, Shane Mumford.
Well,
pressure ruckman of all time in a way.
Well, Hunt's gone down to Eli Templeton and Shaw's running around with Lenny Hayes. So no tag, no defensive work on those 2 lads. They just need to get themselves going.
All right, let's get ourselves going in the second quarter then. Hickey got it down and Armitage got himself some space and kicked them up into the 50 to Hayes.
Back 3 metres.
And he's just beyond Lenny, you'd think. He thinks so too. Angles it for Riewoldt and smart little manoeuvre.
That in itself tells us something. There is no way known on the face of the planet that Lenny Hayes can lead Heath Shaw to the ball. I mean, with all due respect to Lenny, who's in the twilight of his career, speed's not his forte, certainly not now. Heath Shaw was just sitting too far back, allowed him the comfort of leading straight up, taking the ball, and then he delivers it to Riewoldt.
And now Nick Riewoldt with his first chance to impact on the scoreboard. Great strike. Does it hold its line? It does. 6 straight for the Saints.
We saw Nick Riewoldt kicking last week, Jono, kicked very, very accurately. I don't know what magic wand he's waved over his boot, but he's started 2014 beautifully. Have a look at Lenny Hayes, straight up the ground. He's sure that shouldn't be happening to him.
Well, that's the clearance work we're talking about as well. Armitage was just able to stroll out of the middle of the ground with a centre bounce clearance effective, and then the pocket with Hayes coming up, getting back quickly, open up that hole for Riewoldt then to move into.
It's his 350th goal at Etihad Stadium. 138 games he's played here, Nick Riewoldt. He averages over 2.5 goals a game here, 1.8 at all other venues. So
It's not a bad return, is it?
He loves this ground.
Well, the umpire's gone down heavily.
And the Saints are going to get it out of the middle again through Ray, setting everyone a running task. And Clint Jones is up to that. He'll pace after anything, but the ball got away.
Light it down, Rob.
Over and out.
Well, Clint Jones, speaking with Lindsay Gilby before the game, he sets the standard at training with their running work, and his power running is at that elite level.
Armitage almost got tangled up there with his teammate, Dunstan. But we're going to have a ball up.
Thank you.
Mumford with the left-handed tap down cleverly. Ward, the recipient eventually, so they can just wade their way through the middle of the ground. Cornelio's released. Giles pushes nicely off Gwilt to take the grab.
Well, they finally got it forward. It looked like they were trying to run and carry, but under a little bit of pressure. The quick kick forward, when you've got a forward and the defender running back to goal, the forward's nearly always the first one that tracks the ball, stops, props, and comes back to it.
He's been a good story, hasn't he, for the Giants in the first 3 years, Giles, after not really getting any opportunity at Port Adelaide. He's carried a big load in the first 2 years. Now he's the backup ruckman, but importantly for a backup ruckman, you've got to be able to kick goals, and this man has shown that he can. Puts it through Jonathan Giles. He's second this afternoon. He's second for the season. One of only 2 Giants to play every game last year, Jonathan Giles.
Well, he did the grunt work. You mentioned about those 3 years. It's just been grunt work from Giles. Now with Mumford in the side, he gets to have a bit more flexibility, I think, in the way he goes about his footy. Great lead there to be able to go back, like you said, Jason, push back onto the footy. And now just evens things up with Hickey, who's also got 2 goals on the board, the ruckman for St Kilda.
great to see the little pushback in marking contests, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jason, you must enjoy seeing it. You were so good at doing it yourself.
I'm
serious.
glad they've allowed a little bit more leeway because you want to see some body-on-body contests.
Centre bounce, Hickey down, but Cornelio had the read on it into the 50, could bounce anywhere. Players forced to wait, Giles got it away. Read well by Geary, not a good kick, a gift to Green. Cameron calling for it deep. Patton's down there as well, and so is Giles. He has to be tempted just to toss it up to the square while it's still open.
He's going to have a shot. He's going back for a set shot here, I think. Hutto.
Righto, Jono.
Backing himself in because you pull the trigger quick.
In his 40th game, Toby Green. It'll be a mighty kick. It's not going to make it. Patton had to try and break through about 4 tacklers there. The umpire said, nah. Or words to that effect.
This needs to be a good kick too, coming out of defence.
Dempster lands it at half back. Hampton was clever with the fist. Saunders there for the Saints.
Go back to Green. You think he'd realise that on the back of his own leg, the distance in his own leg. Get back off the mark. Get that trigger in there to one-on-ones instead of kicking it to the goal line.
Hayes doing the rucking and the roving and feeding it to Ray. Bit of a misguided torpedo onto the wing. And Plowman able to gather the mark and switch it back through Haynes. He can go short to Frost if he desires, or longer to Scully. No, he's decided to stride out through the middle of the ground. Emboldened by a bit of space. And a dangerous old kick. Good spoil from Townsend, and it fell well for Hampton. Now Green, he's got some work to do here, and he knew the pressure was starting to close on him. So good awareness of the situation for the Giants. Hampton can do some damage when he gets forward. Just dabs it into the path of Addison, who leads up strongly, takes the mark. Now it's Mumford who's pushed deep, and Giles are both down there, but instead it's the hard-leading Cameron.
Yeah, and there were 3 of them there, and he led into a pocket of space. The kick had to be perfect, it was. Jeremy Cameron being a left footer.
So that they're really trying to work that
himself.
height advantage, aren't they? The Giants really haven't been able to do it to any great effect yet. Big kick for Jeremy Cameron. Never really looked likely.
Missed everything.
Giles has marked it over the line. Cameron kicked 6 goals here in round 6 last year against the Bombers.
Big Jonathan Giles trying to tell the umpire where the mark was. He did well, bought a bit of time.
Hickey. Now this should be a simple mark, and it was for Frost at the outnumber. High to the top of the square again.
Just bombing it in and out at the moment.
They're rolling it up there, and then he's going to come straight back with Hickey. So the ruckmen are obviously pushing forward, but the other ones are getting back to help out. Now Dempster, All-Australian defender a couple of years ago, up to the wing. Maister found himself out of position. Dealt out well by Mumford to Green, and then Plowman hits Ward. Kel Ward, one of the co-captains. Of course, Phil Davis, we should send our best to him, out of hospital after a horrible kidney injury in round 1. Cameron almost threw it away, and then he's crunched by Wright. He goes in hard again. He loves the cut and thrust of the contest, does Jeremy Cameron.
You look at Nathan Wright there on screen. He's really blowing up that, isn't it? Took the wind out of himself here. Good collision with Cameron, but Cameron just keeps going, and Wright comes off second best. But in amongst it again now, which is great to see.
Well, they were circling the Giants, but the Saints are able to find at least a small amount of relief.
Gee, he read that well, Heath Shaw, because he was 1 against 2, and he read the kick before the other 2 did.
Bit of a fumble out there from Lockie Whitfield, who's just getting ahead of himself a fraction. Now Bug's able to feed it back to Shaw once more.
So this is good. We spoke about Heath Shaw being one of the players down. He's starting to get involved.
So Addison is providing the hit up, but it's what happens next that's the issue for the Giants at the moment. You heard the call, so the setup's there again. Giles, Patton. Oh, Giles!
Too tall.
For his 3rd goal.
This is a big win for GWS. I mean, we speak so much about Cameron and Patton. You just wouldn't have expected this bloke to be lining up for his 3rd to be the major goal kicker on the ground.
Well, he's been the one. I guess he has the extra tall down there. Has put it through for his 3rd goal. We were expecting perhaps Cameron and Patton to be kicking big bags today, but it's Jonathan Giles with 3 goals. And they're back in front, the Giants.
Well, Mumford comes in there and creates a block
yeah,
for Patton. And in the end, it seemed to, with Giles, with Dempster as his direct opponent, was able to lose him, get him under the ball, use his strength then. But great work by Mumford as well, just to create his big body down there to help out his young teammate.
Coming back this way, all right?
So 3 goals, a great start for Jonathan Giles, and Riewoldt on him there, but I don't know how Dempster got caught on him in that contest, and it actually fell to a 1-on-1 in the end because of all the other bustling that was going on.
So Saints to respond. Stanley got it inside, but it's kicked away by Shaw out towards the boundary.
Surely not deliberate.
They're appealing
Lenny
for it.
Hayes is asking the question.
No. Heath Shaw's definitely lifted, as Jason alluded to a few moments ago. Very quiet on the opening turn. And there's it, Luke Dunstan just getting the handball out. He's tough for Nick Riewoldt down there with Haynes and Kennedy.
Yeah, good effort here from Riewoldt, as you can see, the big fist over the boundary line, just to keep it locked in. He lets Kennedy mark that, and the Giants are away.
On the 50. Treloar has been quiet, down to Townsend. Back to the wing. Addison. Now Devon Smith kicked a couple of goals in the opening turn. They're starting to run and move the ball with much more efficiency. The Giants just eluded Patton.
Well done from Gilbert. Left Cameron inside himself. Has to use it better, though.
And then butchered it.
I guess it's always been the issue with Gilbert. Although his kicking efficiency did improve last year. Scully. Let's fly into the 50. Not as much tall timber down there this time.
No, that's poor. They needed a contest from someone. So Cameron was out bottom.
Catastrophic. Although it could have been either of the decision there.
Now could that be holding the ball? He's going to ping him.
He's going to ping him now.
Well, I'll tell you what he did wrong. He just threw the arms open. You can't do that. Even though the ball might be pinned to you, you can't just throw your arms open.
Well, that was a minute of the good and the bad of Sam Gilbert. Turned it over on centre wing. Ball comes back in, takes the defensive mark as Dempster covered Cameron for him. And then it was a lazy handball back to Dempster. And that's what caused this. He had to then grab the ball himself and was tackled well from Jeremy Cameron.
The agony of the defender there on the face of Sam Gilbert as Cameron comes in and wobbles it through.
Terrible drop. Well, one thing we know about Jeremy Cameron is he doesn't mind the defensive side of the game. And you'll have a look here. The hand pass out, the fumble.
Lazy handball.
Yeah. The ball spills free there. So he's tackled. Right, he's got to make an effort. He's not making an effort. And even though the ball's being held to him, you can't just throw your arms out. You have to be thumping at the ball, trying to show your handballing. And then the umpire would have balled it up. That's an ordinary ball drop from Jeremy Cameron.
So Jeremy Cameron finally gets a goal. As Jason mentioned, he's so good on the ground, not just offensively, but defensively as well. He can lay a tackle, really put the pressure on. Now Hickey striding out of the middle, set it up for Curran to try and advance further. Back for Dunstan off the left. Jones has really worked his guts out to get there and gives him a bit of treatment, Heath Shaw, but not enough to be the cause of a 50.
Well, he's done this so well, Tom Hickey. He just continues to push forward. He's got 2 goals to his name. Again, finds a little bit of space in the forward 50. It's a tough kick.
He runs well, though, doesn't he? He really gets across the ground very well.
Well, Shane Mumford just dropped back to the square, expecting the long kick in, and he found some space.
Making himself dangerous this afternoon, Hickey. Very dangerous. Oh, what about that for a kick? 3 goals to Tom Hickey, 3 goals to Jonathan Giles.
Ruckman don't kick him from there, John.
We are seeing some from the big guys today, Giles and Hickey. It's really that's the matchup of the day. Who's going to finish with the most goals? That's an excellent kick from Hickey, boundary side, left foot. That's classy, Jace.
Beautiful strike.
Quick, Deb.
So, almost the midpoint of the second term.
Saints copped a lot of criticism for letting Ben McAvoy go, but They wanted to get that bloke in as the number 1 ruckman, and he's showing why now, isn't he?
He's thriving on it, but unfortunately, he might have got a bit far ahead of himself there.
He's got 3 he's entitled to.
Free kick goes to Kel Ward. Patton the target here. Cameron's there as
Giles
well. And Giles looking for his 4th. He nearly got it. Flashing through Whitfield. Cameron off the ground behind.
Well, Giles made the most of that then because Hickey was on the ground giving the free kick against. He just bolted forward. He ran past a few Saints players that should have picked him up on the way through.
Cameron again, though.
Cameron did really well to get a shot for goal. He almost got it through. Here's Stanley. And Meister's in prime position, but he just didn't see him. Didn't look quickly enough. Armitage still one-on-one. So Haynes has to really work as a defender. Meister got him where he wanted, but couldn't complete the job. And Josh Hunt able to come away. Cornelio from half-back, out wide to the wing. Addison is charging up the ground. And he's given away a free there, Gwilt. It probably wasn't a bad...
Not a bad free to give away, though, Jace. Yep. I think they were away if you didn't get hold of him.
Yeah, the experienced professional free kick moves.
Addison. Oh, what was going on there? There was
the experienced unprofessional kick. It just turns it over.
No synchronicity there, was there, between the kicker and the man who was the target. Ball out of bounds. What are you grinning about, Jono?
Oh, synchronicity. I liked it, Hutto.
There was an album of the Police.
Yes, it was. Synchronicity 1 and 2.
Green goes to ground. Nunes. Oh, dangerous kick. Against Cornelio. Free kick to Nunes.
Wait there, John.
Delaney. Played 26 games in 3 years with the Roos. Gwilt. Giants lead by 3. Halfway stage of the second term. Giants have had more disposals in this quarter, and they've had 8 inside 50s to 5. Geary out to the wing. Stanley had it rebuffed, knocked away.
No, good kick.
And now they're going. Curran, Meister calling for it long. He got to the front, raised the man who might mark it, but no. Bug had other ideas.
That's a terrific defensive spoil too from Thomas Bug, isn't it?
Vigorous, wasn't it? Just
making an impact.
There's Treloar.
No, didn't get over the top.
And Scully had no real chance against Hickey. Back to Jones as the Saints crowd lift out there on the flank. Hurried kick from Geary, who's finding plenty of it this afternoon. The scramble with Saunders. This is Ray into the 50.
It's like he picked him out.
Could have sworn, though. I was going to say that he was wearing a St Kilda jumper there, not a Giants one. Haynes. Into Ward. His 13th disposal imminent. Now Frost.
That's it, Nick.
Toby Green's got to run away because they had a spare there.
Scully.
Haynes, but they've been able to find Scully, who can run and carry.
Relishing the freedom at half-back and up to the wing. And that's Heath Shaw pushing forward. Taking the mark. Whitfield bolts back towards the goal square. Patton in the end was the
idea was right.
Intended target.
Just trying to get it over the top, but just pulled it into the pocket.
Changed his mind at the last minute. You saw Whitfield going towards the square. I think that was his first thought.
I think Whitfield, he then decided to come up, didn't he? Montagna blasted away, but again, the Giants should have this covered as long as Frost can keep Riewoldt at bay.
He did well, Frost.
So Kennedy. Frost wasn't necessarily wanting to get it then, I don't think. Back to Kennedy, some uncertainty about this ball movement. They haven't given it up. Frost wobbles one into the 50. Anything can happen, and the way it's going today, it probably will. Off the left, striding in. He's done it again, Devon Smith. That's his 3rd.
And 10 disposals to match that. He's having an excellent game of footy. Sometimes it doesn't need to target you. The old chaos ball can come in. In the end, it was a rush kick, but
beat everybody.
Once it hit the deck, away it went, and Mumford involved down there again as the deep was able to get a nice little just a body there on Hickey. I thought he tapped it out to Smith.
It's a classy finish.
But it was excellent work.
Chaos rather than control, wasn't it, that one? Giants back out to that 8-point margin.
Good luck if you can work out how this game's going to pan out at the moment. It's completely unpredictable.
Back in the centre, the ruckmen have played pivotal roles. This time it's Mumford's turn to get it down to Ward. He tried to barge through in his usual robust fashion. Couldn't release it, but he did get it to half forward, where Ray tries to dig in for the Saints, and he's still scrambling after it. Ward just immerses himself in the pack again. Free kick going to Mumford against Hayes.
Not much anyone could do there, with Mummy just putting his head down and going.
Lofts it up to full forward. Saints in a good position to defend. Cameron came late. And now they've got some small numbers. Hickey lays a big tackle on Bug. I'm not sure he actually had the footy.
No, he didn't.
Armitage, though, can share it with Dunstan, and the Saints are bolting out of defence.
Josh Hunt took a massive risk, and that's his man there.
Riewoldt's one-on-one further down the ground. They've got some bases covered, though, the Giants. And now it comes back to Josh Hunt, who tried to thread the needle.
Kick. He had two of them clear.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, but fortunately for the Saints, Nathan Wright was able to intervene. And now they can go. Jones, Riewoldt will come up and be the avenue into attack. Saunders is going to charge back to goal, and so is Stanley. Can use his athleticism. Oh, there's maybe the Sunner factor, and then the handball wasn't great either. Treloar to Ward, just hacks the ball out to half-back. Hampton, gee, they've dodged one there, the Giants, and they might turn it into some gold. Through the middle, no, they won't. Hayes back the other way, can't blast away, and he knew it. Oh, that'll be 50. No? In the contest. Fair enough. Pretty robust.
Well, there's in the contest creating the sprawl. There's in the contest going straight at the man as well.
Gee, there were a couple of horrendous kicks. Opportunities for GWS. Josh Hunt, he had two loose players in the attacking 50, missed them both. And then, was it Hampton coming out of defence or Cornelio? With the little chip kick.
Hampton.
Yeah. Just terrible kicks, and now they should probably get punished.
So as Jason said, his kicking last year was very good. And so far this year, without a blemish, Nick Riewoldt.
Doesn't look like missing.
Straight through. Well, this is a very entertaining game of footy. Stay with us all afternoon.
It's fantastic. It's just going up and down. A few turnovers there from both sides. In the end, St Kilda are able to capitalise, but it's just more fluid, isn't it? His goal-kicking action. It's a bit more relaxed, Chase, in the way that he's approaching it.
Look at this turnover here, Jono.
That's there, Lenny Hayes with the big smother. That's over the top there away, and that's how important the little one percenters are in the game.
So Nick Riewoldt kicks his second goal. And St Kilda back within 2. 5 minutes remaining in an entertaining second term. Great awareness from Ward to get the ball back to Treloar. Up to the 50, not this time for Giles. Two Saints confront him from either angle. They heard the call. Dunstan. No, that's got to be holding the man. Advantage or Gilbert. Sense the danger. Back for Armitage. Treloar tries to hem him in, but he's going to get away here, Armitage. Kick goes through the middle to Geary.
He's been good today, Armitage.
So has Geary, been more attacking than last week. Swings it into the middle. They've just about turned it over, though. Still they might. Jones, they just stayed ahead of the game, but no longer. Whitfield.
There's his head.
He's a tough nut, Townsend.
Easy what?
He got one high early.
Oh, the whistle's lost its P.
I think the umpire was in behind that contest when he actually charged through that. Good effort by the St Kilda players as well to lay the strong tackle. Here it is here, bang, straight through. There's the first high one from Delaney.
Didn't feel a thing.
A couple of blood rules. So Jaron Geary with a cut over the left eye. And a bit of blood on the cheek of Delaney.
And second one.
So pretty important last 4 minutes of this second term here.
Here we go.
And a great struggle. Green, smothered, Hayes. Just done some little things as Lenny always does that has made a big difference on this game. Some high contact that time. There's a bit of a fight erupting too in the middle. Feelings starting to really warm up here between these two sides and the fans as well. Now, Tom Scully can pump it long. Giles went to grab before it got there. 5 blokes almost marked it, but nobody did. Armitage, Townsend, got it off the ground.
This is a very, very strange game, and where the score sources are coming from. There's a bit happening off the ball, up around the contest, behind the contest. Gwilt, Giles down on the ground, so he was out of business. And then we see a couple of good hits in here. All of a sudden, a ball that looks to be half loose is just towed off the ground. That's just making something out of nothing, Townsend. Terrific effort.
Thanks, boys. Jump out.
Jacob Townsend, one of 3 inclusions this week. Of course, they lost Phil Davis, Reece Palmer and Dylan Shields, so 3 handy outs. But Townsend coming back into the side. Tough little nut, kick to goal, but Saints get going from the middle. Montaña's kick marked by Meister. Up to meet it. Hickey's looking for his 4th. He's playing out of the square, but instead, again, he hones in on Riewoldt, and Haynes knew was coming.
Poor kick though as well. Just Riewoldt he led a little bit wide, but the kick just was never near any advantage for him.
He's done well a couple of times to take that front position, Nick Haynes, and showed a good pair of hands there as well.
Well, the thing with taking the front, Jace, it is making, if Riewoldt does mark it, he is marking it out, out quite wide.
Kennedy marked the kick from Plowman and goes back in the same direction to Scully.
Good foot skills.
Starting to find it, his 5th disposal in this quarter coming up. Tom Scully, we think back to
Move it on. Play on.
it was round 7, 2010, in front of 45,000 against the Bulldogs. John only had 39 disposals that night.
His last quarter was unbelievable that night, in the wet as well. I think he had 15 or 16 disposals in the last quarter.
Hasn't come near that amount since. Twice he's had exactly 30 disposals. He was working with Mick Malthouse that night, and I think he said he could be the next Chris Judd, and that's what it looked like at that stage. We know things have changed since then with him making the big move. Still a young man, so hopefully some great footy still ahead for Tom Scully. Mumford, have it straight back to Montaña now. Ray, high ball. Hampton has to wait an eternity, allowed Meister to get there, and might have just sconned himself there. The ball goes over the line and out of bounds.
Good job though, and you can see his teammates getting around him there. Hampton, great courage,
stand under for a long time.
And he knew something big was coming at him, either Hickey, Meister or Riewoldt.
Not a great feeling, I would suspect. There is Scully, just digging it out.
Play on.
Saunders went to ground, so too Montaña, Hampton. Plenty of congestion inside the 50 at the moment. Tough to operate in. Try and find some room. Not easy. Saints fans thought it may have been an in the back. Canelio fought the fight. Little handball from Ward. It was a bit too slick, but good recovery. Oh, Canelio charged down by Dunstan. It's out now. You heard the call. It's locked up again.
See a couple of players getting sold really hospital hand passes, weren't they? Sometimes, even though you want to maintain possession, it helps just to throw it on the boot and clear the area.
Jones. Giants lead by 8. Down to 1:40. 5 goals to 3 in this quarter. 5 goals 1 to 3 goals 1. Stunning accuracy from both sides all through the first half. Jones couldn't fashion out a kick. Ward
there we go.
Straight ahead, bullet again.
That's it.
Out to the wing, get it out of there. Gwilt wants to send it back again, and he's going to get his wish. High ball up into the 50. Hickey amongst 3 or 4 high flyers after the Nunes kick. And there's a tumbling mark again to Jaron Geary. In fact, it was Nathan Wright. Back into the middle. There he is, Wright. Kicking it out wide to half forward and finds Riewoldt. Received it from Dempster. Again, that umpire having trouble with his whistle. Oh, no one knew it was coming.
Turn around.
Tom Scully tracked the football. That's inexcusable, Jono. He could have turned around and marked it.
You just got to swivel the head, don't you? You continually swivel the head. Know where your opponent is back at the footy. Know your opponent back at the footy, and therefore you can create that contest.
It's okay. You've got to push back, and you've got to do all these sort of things. But you've got to keep one eye on the footy. You've got to continually check what's happening with the football. He's got his back to play.
So Reece Stanley lining up for the Saints. Kicked a couple of goals last week. This is a big one just before half-time, and that is an extremely disappointing result.
See, there's stuff happening off the ball everywhere. Little niggles between players.
Anything could happen.
On the boundary line, players coming on and off.
Just come off the bench and they're at each other.
Strange things could happen in the second half here.
Yep.
Just got that feeling about it this game.
That's it, Dave.
Been a few odd occurrences so far in the game. Ruckman kicking bags of goals. What next? Kennedy to the wing. Mumford, Stanley, Dempster. All had a piece of it. Scully tried to wade his way through. Head down from Geary. He's been patched up. And the siren about to sound for half-time. And the Giants, courtesy of a 5 goals to 3 second quarter, will take the lead at the main break. They're 9-3-57, the Giants. St.Kilda 8-1-48, and it's on.
Yes.
It has erupted down in front of us here.
Stay out. Jeremy, teammates only. Grab your teammates, get them out. Thanks, Josh.
Not much actually happening in there, but everyone wants to be part of it.
It was setting up for a little bit of that, though, wasn't it? In that last passage, couple of passages of play.
Well, there's some real feeling out there. The prize is starting the season with 2 wins. And the Giants and the Saints know it.
It's brought the crowd alive.
At the moment, it's the Giants by 8 points.
Points is the margin at Etihad Stadium, favouring the Giants. Hickey has booted 3 for the Saints. Giles has booted 3 for the Giants. Great conditions in both cities. Lovely conditions in Melbourne and 28 degrees in Adelaide at the moment. Set for the second half, though, at Etihad Stadium. It's the Giants by 8 points.
Around the ground, and the clearances count is quite close, but there's the hit-outs and dominated by Shane Mumford.
It's been fascinating, hasn't it? Mumford's done terrific around the contest, and we know how good he is. He picks up possessions, he tackles his second, third efforts. 9 of his 11 possessions are contested. But to counter that, Hickey's aerobic capacity, where he's pushed forward at every opportunity, has enabled him to kick 3 goals, which has been absolutely massive. And then Jonathan Giles has alternated between having a stint in the ruck to give Mumford a spell and then pushing forward, and he's got 3 goals of his own. So each of them contributing in their own way.
Third quarter from Etihad Stadium. Begins with Hickey climbing high, although Mumford just got enough on it at the end. Ray with the first meaningful kick into the 50. They crash into Jones. A bit of uncertainty for Josh Hunt in game 200. He's given a free for a bit of high contact.
They're very quiet first half. Just the 3 possessions for Josh Hunt. He'd love to have a much greater influence in the second half here.
Don't go forward, mate. Half a metre.
Well, this is why he was brought into the side, Hutto, to hit a good target from this position of the ground.
Oh, and it has not been his day so far. He could almost have given away a free there for high contact on Montagna.
20, mid-zone, 20.
Well, he had a target. He had Mumford up on the wing, and he needed the long, quick kick, but he never cleared the man on the mark.
Yeah, way too low, as you can see there.
I think Montagna played for the free kick as well.
11 to 9. The free kick count's quite high relative to what we've seen so far in other matches. Armitage.
Never a chance of hooking that back.
Showing up a prayer there.
Probably better just allowing himself to be carried over the boundary line.
And just showing signs of that knee injury that worried him last week too, as he got up.
Yeah, he's just down on the haunches now, you can see.
Good kick.
It was to Ward, who's had a good day out so far with 19 disposals. Feeding it back and then getting involved again. Cornelio comes away. Kick goes to half forward. Over Mumford's head, sweeping in Scully. Back to Mumford. Thought about laying it off. Instead just angles it into the square and the ball does the rest of the work. Terrific goal to Mumford.
Well, the ball nearly fell in his hands. He wasn't sure the kick was coming from him. He was pushing forward. But what he did do when he turned around was get a very important hand on the ball just there that took it out of Sam Gilbert's reach. Then he gets the follow-up hand pass. I thought he was going to try and draw and give it over the top to Jeremy Cameron, but he thought, no, I'm running straight at goal. I'll just kick through it and through the target. And see, that's a terrific start to the second half for GWS. Well done, Shane Mumford.
The ruckman continue to kick goals here at Etihad. Moon's a bit of a concern for the Saints.
Well, Armitage is just walking around the boundary at the moment, and we know he's got that heavily strapped right knee, but he seems to be okay, but I'll keep you updated.
All right, thank you, Moons. Ward again out of the middle, his 21st disposal. Cut short by Wright. And now, with a little bit of an advantage meterage-wise for Dempster, the Saints can attempt to go forward. Too wide.
Out in the full.
Out in the full.
Yep.
Right there,
It's a bad miss, isn't it, for such an experienced player?
Play on.
Frost bombs away to half forward.
Play on.
They'll converge. Patton happy to share it around. Trelaw
You now.
was hassled as he kicked it. Geary, Cameron. He looked a little bit spooked there, Geary, the first time by Cameron's presence, but he did well and teamed up nicely. Oh, Hickey, dangerous left foot kick.
There, John.
Marked by Jones, safe enough. Back to Gwilton. They've got some resources on this side of the ground. Templeton takes the grab. Has a glance further afield. And it's going to end in Saunders. He's going to be held up here, though, by Haynes, which means that Riewoldt's free. They've got the extra over the top. It took a while to get there, though. And Patton can cover the bases with great authority. Knocks it over the boundary line, much to the frustration of Lee Montagna.
And Nick Riewoldt too.
It would be, but that's where the growth of the Giants are, because Haynes comes off and then blocks up, and then the next one did flow back to take his direct opponent. It took a little bit of time, but they got there. They got there in the end. So working for each other a lot better.
Stanley with the tap. Saunders couldn't quite. Hampton could, and they're away with slick ball movement
This is where
again.
they've been good today.
Scully getting dangerous. Sorry, Jono. Hunt likes to kick it.
Oh,
He's
that's
had
an odd bounce.
Such an uncertain day, and he had no real target, so showed good patience.
He actually did well there just to hang on to it. It was a strange old bounce.
It was like a handball bounce in some ways.
Just threw it away.
He did.
Finally, a short option presented itself.
So Hickey's behind the footy.
And they're awake to that. So you'd think they won't go long now. Patton's been able to sneak forward. And not just Patton, the ball went shorter in the end to Bug.
Play on now.
Still outnumbered on the long kick. Bug just tried to get it over Hickey's head to the square. The crumbs are up for grabs. Well done again. He's been very versatile, Hickey.
Great goalkeeping effort.
The umpire still hasn't fixed that whistle. Montagna in the back pocket.
Good pressure.
And not a good kick. Kennedy takes the mark.
Well, they closed Montagna down, and he didn't have any options. He had to rush the kick.
Addison demanding the ball in the pocket.
You now.
Kennedy goes for bigger targets. And aren't there plenty in there? And he's playing like a man possessed, Tom Hickey.
Well, didn't everyone at the start of the season, Jay, say, what was St Kilda doing, getting rid of McAvoy? And look, we know McAvoy's a very good ruckman, but today I think we have shown why St Kilda desperately wanted to get him playing games of football.
Absolutely, and that's, we spoke about it before, saying what looked to be a mystifying decision all of a sudden looks very, very good, doesn't it? Because he needs that time in the ruck.
Josh Hunt is just not having a great day at all, but it's ended well for the Giants. Townsend, they stream into goal. They've got the extra here, but hit the ground. It doesn't even get that far. And Cameron really straining hard to hang on for dear life, takes the mark.
They did well there, Cameron. Dylan Addison was sitting in that pocket all by himself for some time, a good couple of minutes. But as a turnover here, it was a great tackle on Lee Montagna that created the turnover, and they've been able to flow back in with some nice shoes going forward.
So Jeremy Cameron lines up for his second.
Not dropping it well today.
Oh,
It's a bad miss,
isn't it?
And Dempster now playing on Jeremy Cameron. So it's interesting they've really mixed the matchups there as well. Surely they've got to get rid of that other footy.
Wilt goes short into the back pocket. Delaney.
Move it on now. Play on.
Got options in the middle of the ground.
Decides to go along the boundary. It's touched. Oh, it's a big shove. I think it's out of bounds. as a
Yeah, he
result
ran
of
over
that.
the boundary line.
It was touched.
Shane Mumford not too impressed. Here's the ball drop for you, Jace.
Well, even the one he kicked was pretty ordinary.
Let him run.
And that's not a great one either.
Now look at the shape of it when it hits the boot.
Play on. Play on. Play on.
Up into the 50 again. Whitfield.
Fine. Thanks, boys.
So 15 points is the margin. Some real concerns for Alan Richardson now. GWS got the all-important first goal of this third quarter, extending their advantage, which was 8 points at half-time. Armitage.
Right, got it.
Well, Armitage and Callum Ward, probably the two key players from each side in the first half.
Coming out this way.
First half of footy, both competing in hard on that occasion.
Hickey leans in. Mumford tried to hook it over the top to get it into the open spaces.
Back. St. Kilda.
Armitage's ball.
Armitage. That's it.
He's led well for the middle today, Armitage. Shares it with Ray. Armitage 17 disposals. Ray's kick, Geary got some protection, but not enough. Well, good enough to get the ball alive, though. And used Nunes and Robertson and Jones. And it comes unstuck for the Saints.
See, that's 5 metres over the boundary too.
Not yours.
His ball use was pretty good last week. In his 39 disposals, 79% kicking efficiency for Clint Jones.
Yeah, best I'd seen him kick it was last week in pretty much his entire career. I think consistently over an entire game.
After a bit of a pause, Green goes to Scully. His trouble's multiplying, though, as the Saints players arrived and the pressure amped up a little bit. Montagna clever around the corner. And so it was good experience play by the Saints. Ray to Meister.
Well, we spoke about Clint Jones not using the ball well when he kicked it out in the full. Toby Green's got the same issues. He needs to polish up his use of the ball by foot, and then he runs over it when he tries to make amends. So a couple of mistakes there from the youngster. Yeah, that's one area of his game that he has to get better at.
And considering the shot at the other end that was missed by Jeremy Cameron, what a boost this would be for the Saints if he could thread it. Just can't hang on to it.
Work, mate.
And Meister misses. The former Eagle. Short ball into Kennedy now. And the Giants are on their way. The extra strength and height with Mumford. Manhandled by Gwilt. Ticked off by the umpire. Giles there to support Smith. Clever play by Geary. He had eyes on the side of his head by the look of that too. So he found his teammates.
Oh, that's a clever kick.
Can share it around with Nathan Wright. Things open up in the middle. Adventurous kick. Dempster's got to the right place. In fact, it's Dunstan. Audacious stuff from the young man, and he delivers to the captain.
I'll tell you what, Nick Riewoldt knew he was a left footer. Don't worry about that. He led right to his leg. Hampton on the mark. Let him turn left. And Riewoldt was already coming to that left leg of Luke Dunstan.
And the way he's kicking today, you just about pencil this one in. They've been coming off the boot beautifully.
See the easy roll by Dunstan.
And that's not knowing your opponent either.
No, but that's knowing your teammates as well on the flip side from what Riewoldt was able to produce.
Nick Riewoldt, who's been pumping up his kicking. I guess the run was bound to come to an end at some stage.
You've been trying to put the moz on him all day, Jace.
Come on. He's been striking it beautifully.
Footy at full-back with Heath Shaw. And he's decided to go for a bit of a trot. Stanley was in the best shape to mark. He's forced it to the front. Lots of St Kilda numbers there. Riewoldt brings this one. Meister's got 3 to contend with. Templeton couldn't take it with him. Hampton just used the tackle well to his own advantage as he got slung. And he fed it out to Heath Shaw. Good body awareness from Hampton. He's a real talent. Now it's Whitfield's footy. 21 disposals last week.
Oh, they're out here. They're out. Got to go quick.
Cornelio breaks. He's got Scully charging into the 50. Took a long time to spot him. Still hasn't seen him.
Too long.
Now Green. The options have dried up.
Oh, he had to one bounce, pull the trigger. One bounce, pull the trigger. Scully was out. Ball travels quicker than what you can run with it.
Yeah, and that's Toby Green again, who we've spoken about. Just wasteful, kicking it inside 50, but
they've given it back.
Poor options. I'll get another go here.
Hampton. It's one-on-one inside the 50. If he gets it in there quick.
Move it on, play on.
He doesn't want to. It is genuinely one-on-one. Decides to run and handball. Haynes has to hurry it in there. And Hayes stayed off his man. Cameron squirts out the back. Now Geary with a mop-up operation. Back for Dempster with a stand start. The quick kick. Elements of danger there. Green versus Ray. He's locked him up pretty well. Templeton converging on it. Plenty of Giants. Townsend one of them. Again, high into the air. Whitfield stands underneath it. Dempster thumps it back. Mumford. Green. Uncertainty. Scully, a handball. Bug. off the ground. Anything could happen from there. Gwilt
All clear. Ready?
taking no chances. The conservative approach. It's through for another minor. And the margin is at 13. 10-4-64 to 8-3-51.
Devin, just come back 3 metres. 3 metres.
Nathan Wright with the footy.
Move it on. Play on. You.
High ball outside the 50, and Plowman. That's pretty easy fodder. No, he didn't take the mark as it turned out. I thought he grabbed it, and the Saints have got opportunity now to really respond off half-back. Ray was a bit of a wandering handball, and they're going to get it back. Whitfield. Smith's kick 3, and now he's got 4.
Wow. Not sure who it was running past.
Yeah,
Someone was extremely upset because he just turned and kicked off 1 foot.
I think it was Trelaw, boys. He was going to flip out.
This is a great angle here. You'll see the turnover here
Young
off
Dunstan's
the hand pass.
handball.
And then it comes through. And just, you can look at him carrying on. But when you kick him like that, you keep kicking him. When you've got 40 and aim, absolutely.
It's out to 20 points now.
You're right, Moons. If you had missed that, Trelaw would have
Just sprayed him.
I think it would have been one of the great sprays too by that reaction.
Deservedly so, though.
Armitage trying to do something about it for the Saints. They've got a loose out there on the wing. Montagna helps himself to the footy. Riewoldt digs deep. Haynes got there with a double fist. He had support from Heath Shaw. Charging hard into the pocket for the Saints. Curran overruns it. Gathered by Haynes. The scoop up was good. And they're going to come away again, the Giants.
Frost was important once again in that contest.
Scully marks the Townsend kick.
Risky kick.
And Ward did pretty well to get back onto it and somehow get a kick out of there without giving up the free.
That was brilliant by Ward.
Yeah.
Trelaw, they had good numbers ahead. He's blasted it up there. Disappointing from Addison the first time. He'll go again and get another chance against Dempster. Head-to-head, jousting for it, but well played from Farron Ray. A steadying influence and a good kick, servicing Nunes on the wing. Margin is 20.
He's got to do better than that, particularly as an experienced player, Dylan Addison.
Now Kennedy's left his man. He's taken the chance to try and intercept. Couldn't affect it. Montagna was able to mark. Big up and under. Jones spills it. He's got time on his side and space. Meister's deep. They're covering Riewoldt.
Yeah, Heath Shaw's a spare in defence at the moment.
So Armitage trying to sum up what's ahead for him. Goes back to right. Just past the halfway point of the third term.
Yeah, and it mightn't look great, but rather than just kick to an outnumbered contest, be patient, keep possession, rebuild. Look to attack from a different perspective.
Dempster threading it through the middle. Delaney. Wide to half forward.
Gee, that's a good spoil.
From Frost. Athleticism is
25 metres.
Rookie elevation. Thumped the ball over the boundary and out of bounds.
Bit of movement down here, guys. Savage has just taken the vest off, so we'll be coming on in a minute.
Looks like Kelly has as well.
Looks like Kelly might be as well.
Sorry, Moons. I thought he was taking it off, but he's not at this stage. My mistake. Ball back into play.
Dragged it in. You're going to be in trouble. As soon as you drag it in, you forfeit all prior opportunity or chance of getting it out. So,
any ideas coming off down there, Moons?
No, not at the moment, Hutto. I'm not sure what they're going to do here. They need some more run through the midfield, I'd say. So, might be one of the forwards, I'd say, and then try and get that run.
Could be a Templeton in his second game. May get subbed out. Young player who's showed some energy today. Just hasn't been able to get his hands on the ball as often as he'd like.
Oh, wow. That was nearly a horrendous kick.
It ends well, though. Frost to a one-on-one, a dangerous one on the wing. Doors open for the Saints and then shut.
I didn't see that. Did not see that. It was the wrong option to kick to. Maybe a little bit lucky getting the free kick.
Addison to Shaw, caresses the ball to half forward. Beautiful mark to Bug.
Beautiful kick too. He hasn't paid it.
Okay, well, it wasn't such a beautiful mark.
The only problem with that lead-up, Jace, he's the only one leading at the moment, Addison. All the rest of the guys are playing too deep. Patton, Cameron, and I think Giles are all 30 out from goal.
So the ball falls to Cornelio now on the restart.
He's just kicked it to the loose, hanging back there.
Farron Ray sets it up for Montagna. We know Scully can run as well. He's done well to hassle him out of it the first time. Montagna kept it in St Kilda's hands though. Gilbert, awkward kick for Templeton. Takes the mark. Saints need to give something in this third quarter. Giants lead by 20, keeping them at bay. Riewoldt digging deep as always, but once more he's had to search far and wide for his possessions. Alan Richardson pensively watches on. Dempster pokes the kick, and there's the fumble.
It's just the two fumbles, puts himself under a little bit of pressure, Dempster, by not taking the ball clean, and then has to go wide then with his possession because he can't get back, and Stanley drops one over the line.
No excuses for that drop now by Reece Stanley, is there?
No.
Clambering for the ball. Stanley's able to get the handball back. It's a thumping kick to the top of the square from Dunstan. Now Riewoldt. Meister. Gee, he looks a type Dunstan, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Just a natural footballer, isn't he?
We saw him last week as the Rising Star nomination. He's only had the 10 disposals today, but such a solid young customer. Really ready for action straight away. Through the legs almost of Nunes. He had to go a second time. Addison tries to wrap him up. Haynes poked it away. Geary in the thick of it.
Tell you what, there'll be some bruised bodies after this game. They have gone at each other,
1 metre, boys.
leaving nothing behind.
The Giants play Melbourne next week. They can hang on and win. It's a long way from but what a start to the season for them.
Well, that's where the Saints need this victory, leading to WA next week to play the Eagles.
Templeton back to Dunstan. Can he get something generated for them? Back to Templeton again. And Riewoldt looming large. Can't mark. Haynes bounding out of defence. Great confidence from the young man. Smith probably did as well as he could. Townsend charging through. Saunders for the Saints. It's on the 50. It's hotting up. St Kilda needs something. Nudes takes the ball on. Lost it. Armitage. Wings clipped for a moment. Got the handball out.
Oh, smashed each other.
Advantage paid. No one was ready. Dempster. It's a goal. It's a goal. And that's goal for the Saints.
Big goal, Jace, by the Saints. GWS were doing everything possible, but they just kept that drive, kept it strong, and kept it, well, not silent with what Richo, I thought, was calling for them with a bit of shush in the box. They just kept it going forward, and then were able to then get the ball out wide eventually. A free kick here to Delaney, advantage taken, and a big goal from outside 50 from Dempster.
Steve, jump in, mate. Put our lads out of the circle. Here we go.
Fascinating third quarter. Goals have been much more difficult to come by. 2 goals, 2 to 1 goal 2 in favour of the Giants.
Oh, Mummy with a big tackle.
The crash and bash. It's heavy duty stuff here this afternoon in the sunshine at Etihad. And the margin is 14 points.
Eddie.
Josh Kelly desperate to get out there.
Holding, St Kilda.
Free kick going to Karen.
Well, they've worked hard to build up a little bit of breathing space. They don't want to cough it up here with a couple of laps. GWS.
And that's well guided. Oh dear, we've seen some spillages this afternoon. Templeton sneaks in. Riewoldt, you're back in there. Gets Frost. Didn't give away the free. Hunt, head over the ball. Green. Cornelio took them on. Could have been penalised. Saunders. Hampton. Smith. Geary. Templeton. Chaotic stuff. Hayes. Charging through Nathan Wright. Forged the path. And then the kick misses.
Would have been 2 big goals from St Kilda if they were able to manage that one from Nathan Wright. It was similar to the one before, the Dempster kick, just handling the pressure. GWS coming at them, the St Kilda then standing up to that pressure, creating the turnovers and getting some scoring opportunities on the back of it.
Tense stuff. Shaw aimed up Mumford. No mark for Hickey. Bit of a fumble from Wright again.
And then dropped it.
Tackled. Sneaks out the back. Gwilt could feel. He could sense Mumford was coming. Oh, but Mumford misses with the handball. And Wright could go anywhere. Templeton takes the mark. Locks flowing, charges through centre half forward. Adrenaline pumping the young man, and the Saints are right back in it again.
Well, it looked like they had an opportunity to break away, GWS, but I think Big Mummy was tired after a couple of efforts. It was a poor hand pass that he eventually tries to give out. And then this is just a quick kick. I don't even think he looked, but he found Templeton in space. And I love the fact that he just took the bit between the teeth. He didn't worry about kicking wide, deleting options. He's running straight down the corridor, straight at his target, and unloaded from just on the 50.
Well, I thought the sub might have gone that way with Savage for Templeton. His last 5 minutes have probably kept him on the ground. And I can't quite see. Is that Robertson, I think, that's got the red vest on there, Hutto?
Just 2 possessions.
He hasn't looked like it today, Dylan Robertson.
Yeah, guys, it is Robertson. And the other move's been made. Kelly's come on for his first run, and young Townsend has come off. He's been subbed off, Wes.
Okay, thank you, Moons. Mumford was able to withstand the pressure to get the tap down, but the Saints are going to get the clearance. Bug arrived first on the scene. Play on.
There's Kelly with his first kick.
Out to half back. Oh, Treloar buffeted out of the road. Saints, plenty of venom about the way they're going about it at the moment. Dunstan, top of the square. Riewoldt, they've got the numbers, the Saints. Oh, Riewoldt's got the footy. Not sure why he played on. Doesn't matter.
What a great fight back from the Saints.
Sensational.
3 goals just to virtually square it up again after it looked like GWS had built some breathing space, and they're just kicking it to the right position. Kick it to that hot spot. He actually didn't get first touch on it, so it's a really good decision from the umpire. And he just finishes off nicely, Nick Riewoldt. This game's going to script. Again, it's completely unpredictable. So hard to work out what's going to happen. It's so enjoyable to watch.
There's a couple of the younger players too, Hutto, that have been able to stand up. Yes, Riewoldt kicks that goal, but Templeton's had an impact. Nunes has had an impact. Nathan Wright in this quarter has had an impact, and Luke Dunstan the other one as well.
And you wonder about the physical strain this match has taken on the bodies of both sides as to who can prevail in the last quarter. Scully gave it up quickly there under the strain and stress. Ward, and they've just been beating him on the outside in the last 10 minutes, the Saints. And again, Hayes pushing forward. 2 minutes to go, 2.5 in the quarter, and Riewoldt. He'll go and go and go all day. And the mark is inside the 50. So he's capable from there.
Well, if they can hit the front, that'll give them a massive lift.
Oh.
A massive lift, and the crowds come right into it.
For the first time since early in the second quarter that the Saints would find themselves in front. Riewoldt delivers as always. Just when the Saints need it. And they lead by 5. St Kilda, they've kicked the last 4 goals. What a contest at Etihad Stadium.
Well, he's coming up for a rest now. Nick Riewoldt, he's done a truckload of work in the last 10 minutes of play, coming at the footy consistently. Mismatch there with Dylan Addison having to take him on a swap over. But his goal kicking today, he missed one easy one in this quarter that I think you put the moz on him, Jace. Outside of that, he's kicked it extremely well.
Stunning turnaround in this game.
He's a marvel, isn't he? Just does it year in, year out. That kill for centre clearance, GWS.
Oh, they're getting smashed in there at the moment. And they're away again through Ray. A little bit of a detour out on the full. So can the Giants just get some hands on the footy? Josh Hunt, they need some possession. Patton down the line has to compete against 2 Saints. 2 minutes remaining in this third term. They've
The last 10 minutes,
yeah, look at that.
Been all down St Kilda's end, hasn't it?
And look, 41 disposals to 19 in that period of time. But you mentioned the outside, Hutto, and that's where they've dominated with 21-5 uncontested possessions.
Both players, Greg, that all have it.
Buggy, give it here. To Thomas Buggy.
Hickey got the tap down. Saunders surrounded. Bug gave it back to Armitage, to half forward. Meister will try and spoil. He can't. And there's young Lockie Plowman.
That's it, mate. You take it.
Just 19 years of age. Was picked 3 in the 2012 draft, Plowman. Thomas Bug.
He's another key position type, so you expect him to take a few seasons to develop.
Yep. Oh, that's a scrappy old kick to the wing.
It'll work.
Almost did for Jeremy Cameron. Had to run a big arc, hence the decision to handball. Whitfield didn't do any favours for Kelly. So 1:13 on the clock. St Kilda in front. Kicked the last 4 goals to take that lead. Throw in. Again, it falls for Cornelio. They've got the extra back there, so Mumford needs to mark this or they're in trouble. He nearly did, tough in the sunshine. Got the handball, almost took Patton's head off, unfortunately. He applies a pretty good tackle. Callum Ward can't break the pressure applied by this relentless Saints team. And Hayes with a little touch of class.
Hickey's pushed forward.
Again, Dunstan turns onto his left. Here's Tom Hickey. He's playing like Reg Hickey today. Kicks in towards the 50. Not that I ever saw Reg play.
Now, where's the next kick go? Hickey's bolted forward again. 30
seconds to go. Hickey! Oh, almost. Hampton. He gives to Kelly. He's about to be smashed by Riewoldt. Hampton kept on coming. Guides it to Smith. 17 seconds now. It looks like they're going to just try and hold on here.
That's it, Jack. Right on it.
Hickey looks a bit sore too. That's not good news for the Saints. Smith can dash. Kick towards Mumford. Is there time to... Tough afternoon for Jonathan Patton, but this is all set up for a frantic last quarter. Jono, whose side would you rather be on at this stage?
Oh, St Kilda with the momentum, but GWS would need this break now to settle down.
Jono, whose side would you rather be on?
I said St Kilda.
Okay. 12-4-76 the Saints. 11-5-71 the Giants. Fascinating last quarter ahead here at Etihad Stadium. St Kilda, with the last 4 goals of the third, have turned in front 12-4-76 to 11-5-71. Been a big day for some of the big blokes with multiple goals, but in that quarter was the class of Riewoldt that came to the top. He's kicked 4 goals to supplement Hickey's 3, and for the Giants, 4 goals to Dylan Smith and 3 to Jonathan Giles. Let's get down to Moons. There's some words of wisdom from both coaches at this very important juncture, Moons.
Thanks, Hutto. Look, it's just funny just watching Tom Hickey, who's spent the whole entire break in the hands of the physios, getting his left foot looked at. We're just looking at it here. Did it in that last marking contest. Not sure what to think about it. Look, he's still on the ground as we speak right now, still getting it strapped up, still getting it looked at. And you just see it there. Someone's obviously landed on him just on the back of it right there. And he's in a fair bit of pain down here. So, look, putting his boot back on now. Hopefully he'll be okay. Look, he's having an exceptional game, 16 possessions. More importantly, he's had the 7 marks around the ground. He's kicked the 3 goals. He's been absolutely brilliant. And we spoke about him through the course of the day. You know, the McAvoy deal. This is why they wanted to give him games, because he's got such an amazing talent. And the other one we want to talk about, of course, is Nick Riewoldt. Just been an absolute outstanding individual. His captaincy is unbelievable. We know that. 19 possessions, 12 marks up to 3/4 time. The most important thing, 4 goals. He's just been incredible. He's really turned the game around. If it was of him, they'd be in all sorts of trouble right now, boys.
Yes, just on the Hickey one, Jono, we saw a shot there of the toe that they were paying particular attention to, which is very difficult to know how that is going to impede
the extent of it. It may come down to just pushing through this last quarter, seeing if he needs to push through, and then it could possibly be just an X-ray or a scan throughout the week if it doesn't settle down. But hopefully we don't, because he's had such a fantastic 3/4 of footy. hopefully he can get his team up over the line in this last quarter.
Well, the way that it was strapped suggests it was more than just having your foot trodden on or your toe trodden on. You can see both huddles extremely tight. Nick Riewoldt having plenty to say to his players. They've got all the momentum coming from the last 10 minutes of that third quarter. But let's not forget GWS last week, when everyone expected them to wilt under pressure as the Swans came at them. They actually went away. They handled things. They made the right decisions. They beat Sydney at their own game, and they ended up making it a comfortable victory. So they'll have every confidence that they can run the game out strongly as well.
And it's one thing to come back, it's another thing to go on with the win. We've seen that already this round. Both Carlton and Essendon finding this. Well, I asked Jono before the break. Now I ask you, Jason.
Well, I'm sticking with GWS.
Moons?
I just think they can do it.
What about you?
He'll sit on the fence.
No, I'm still going with, well, actually, I tipped the Saints at the start of the day, so I'm going to have to stick with that one, boys. But just interesting down here, Jeremy Cameron is starting on the bench. We know the rotations will be on very quickly, but it's just an interesting move.
It is.
It is, considering he's just had 7 minutes to rest up in the break there of the quarter. You'd sit him at 25 out from goal to start him fresh, get an early one.
Giles starting in the square. Good news for the Saints. Hickey has been all patched up and he's out there to combat Mumford at the start of the final term. Saints taking a 5-point advantage into what has been a terrific but at times odd game. Very hard to know what's to come in these last 20 minutes or so.
Well, this is one area where they've dominated St Kilda, and that's been the centre square clearances.
Here we go.
Curran still watching Treloar like a hawk as he has most of the day. Scully into the 50, but it's going to come out again through Dempster.
Hold there.
He started to have an influence in defence, feeding it out.
Play on.
Gilbert heard the call from Gwilt, who kept on coming. Down the line, Meister.
Bronxy.
He got the Bronx from his own supporters.
Hurried kick from Savage, the former
Very
Hawk,
harsh.
up to the 50.
Isn't it?
Shot him.
Yeah, he dropped a couple today, but got the Bronx in front of your own members.
You just walk off, wouldn't you?
Maybe from the opposition supporters, but not your own.
Mumford parried it down, but it was Lenny Hayes who was onto it the quickest. Testing for Heath Shaw against Jones. He was resilient the first time, Shaw, and then he went back and slapped it.
He's got to be gone. Got to be pinged.
And he is.
I don't know why he went to ground to start with, Heath Shaw. Took a big risk in doing so. And that left him with one option. That was to kill the ball while he was on the ground. And if you miss, you're going to get pinged deliberately. And this bloke, the way he's kicking, you'd expect him just to slot his fifth.
It was like a big appeal for LBW, that. And eventually it was given. And for number 5, Nick Riewoldt got all the logistics right. And the Saints get their 5th in a row.
So now, Jono, it's a 2-goal break in favour of St Kilda. And the work is now ahead of GWS. So they've got to take some initiative. They've got to, get some of the drive going now.
Well, he gets one there, Riewoldt, but his third quarter was where he was able to start to dominate. More time spent inside forward 50, had 7 disposals, 5 inside forward 50, and the goals to match that as well. Gets one there for the deliberate out of bounds, but spending more time this second half inside forward 50.
Straight back to you, Moons.
Tom Hickey's just come off, guys, with a serious limp. Look, he's got his right knee strapped. We know about that left foot or toe injury, whatever it might be, but he looks in a bit of trouble down here, guys.
Gee, that's significant, isn't it? Which means Stanley has to carry the load against 2 big lumps of GWS ruckman, Mumford and Giles. Plowman out to the wing. Bug, Scully. Scully's got it. Scully's away and guiding the ball for Kelly. The young man in his first game decides to share the love. Cornelio had the handball, Patton instant kick, and couldn't give the instant reply that he was after.
Gee, they made a botch of that, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Had the loose over the top to Giles, would have strolled in. Been able to kick one of the easiest of goals.
Dempster.
Play on.
Margin is now 10. Stanley got just pushed around a little bit. Hampton flew, but forgot the footy. And it's out of bounds. Still just 21 years of age, Curtly Hampton. Just gradually improving and looking more and more at home. Ward just handball to the voice, but it's all St Kilda. Stanley along the line to Riewoldt and Haynes again. He got him into just the right spot. Well done for Haynes to keep fighting. Templeton, he's got Haynes' measure to the square. Young Dunstan, the youth of St Kilda, on display in the present.
Eli Templeton with a big fist pump as well as he was running to congratulate his teammate. He loves it. He's got plenty of energy. Great front and centre. Hits it with speed. And the speed creates this goal opportunity. Well, this certain goal now for Luke Dunstan.
St Kilda lead by 16 points. 6 in a row. Stunning stuff.
Just get the feeling the way that the game is panned out that there's still plenty of footy to be played out yet. You expect GWS to come home hard at them, but this guy's just infectious. Everything he does brings his teammates into play, brings the morale up. I mean, he ignites the forward line, doesn't he? Just explosive.
Look, they're perfect spot. Good block by Nick Riewoldt as well to allow him to run through.
Luke Dunstan's first goal in AFL footy in his second game. Rising Star nomination last week. The Saints out to a 16-point lead, their biggest advantage of the entire match. Stanley favoured by the bounce, got the tap down. Mumford couldn't do it. Montagna to Ray, back to Stanley.
Fine. Let it go. Let it
Now
go.
it's a flat Stanley on the ground.
Thanks, Reece. Reece.
Margin 16. 14-4 to 11-6.
Play on.
Savage. Hampton.
Hold there. Push out. Play on.
Addison just didn't quite have enough metres. Oh, look at Kelly. Just flashing through, driving to Giles. Gwilt did enough. Oh, Giles got it back.
A banana.
And look at that. It's deadly. Just what they needed. Just the tonic.
Great keep, Arrow.
The big fella's just kicked a banana off one step, Jono.
For his fourth.
Straight back at you, isn't it? In some ways, that's what a response, and they needed this response. The GWS Giants. Kelly with some class off the back of the pack.
Well, that's on his opposite foot.
Yeah.
But look at Giles there. He's involved. He keeps his feet in the contest. Turnover. Bang.
It's a banana.
It's great to watch. It's been a great game of footy.
One in, guys. Boys, out of the circle, please.
The ruckmen have been given a special pass today to do things
have.
they're not normally
You know
allowed
what?
to do.
When it's your day, you've got to make the most of it, Hutto.
He's kick 4, Jonathan Giles.
Normally it's the midfielders who shake hands at the start of play and just go and do their own thing. The ruckmen today have been totally dominant.
Well, I mean,
Thanks,
credit to GWS that they've found ways to score because Jeremy Cameron has 1 goal 3 and Patton has 1 point. So they found other avenues to goal.
Saints have 6 more inside 50s in the match too. Stanley, Montagna. Here's Templeton again. Shut down by Kennedy on this occasion. Ward's in there somewhere as well. And Green.
There's Hickey trying to do some strides. It really doesn't look comfortable at all.
Mumford to Treloar. Kelly, he knew they were going to come, and they did. Curran, Riewoldt. What a handful he's been. Templeton overruns it. Whitfield braced himself for the Riewoldt tackle. It came. Of course it was going to.
20. 20. Thanks, Dave. Righty.
16 minutes remaining.
Back in that way.
Fascinating contest between two very young sides. Mumford to the path of Treloar. It's not going to be a mark either way. Stanley. Haynes. Cameron. Being impeded. Play on. Riewoldt. Host of Saints at half forward. Geary. Montagna. Just bombs away to full forward. Meister. They all fall down. Kennedy. Frost broke one and then handballed. Kelly didn't panic. Green, a handball away from disaster, but they just stayed ahead of the game. Cornelio got some treatment there from Delaney. Umpire says no worries, throw in.
Just saw a small glimpse of the composure of Josh Kelly in tight situations.
Boundary throw in, half forward. Saints lead by 10. Mumford's going to have the edge in that area, you'd think, unless they can get Hickey patched up and back out there. Almost threw it out the back to Scully. Whitfield Stretching the handball, Cornelio. Shares it with Green. Sees off one tackle. Back to Cornelio. Oh, he hesitated and he's lost. He could be trying anything. Oh, the umpire just said play on. Whitfield through to Green, and now they can charge. Smith decides to take it on himself with a bounce. Scully didn't protect. Well, I think he handballed that.
He handballed that. That's an extraordinary decision. It looked like he definitely got fist on it. It mightn't have been the cleanest of handballs. Have a look at this. Does he get a fist on it?
Gets a tackle and an instant fist.
Hickey back on down here, guys.
From centre half back.
They should score here, the Saints.
Oh, he was held up. He's almost over the mark, Josh Hunt. It's gone sideways, and now they can cover what's ahead. Saunders screaming for it at half forward. Kick goes longer in the direction of Meister, who takes the mark just outside 50. And into Hayes. Play on the call. No free kick. Ward. Great combat at half back. Dunstan.
Oh, here we go. Clint Jones limping off. Looks to be in a bit of trouble.
Yes, he does.
Or it might have been a knock to the knee. Knee on knee, I think.
Savage hacked it into the 50. Kennedy looked up quickly, but they didn't have anyone breaking this side.
Oh, if he kicks it too far, that would have gone straight to Geary, the man coming off the bench, if he kicked it over the top.
Kelly stretching out.
Big
Addison. Dempster's had his measure for much of the day in the air. Low ball, terrible ball.
So
Straight back to Smith.
Cameron run out, and he's not even looking.
Doesn't get there. They've been smothered several times on the way in, the Giants. Now he'll go against Gilbert. Can't mark it. At ground level, Saints have the extra numbers. Nunes, Munford, you're not getting out of there. He just hung on for dear life. Goes again, Geary. To Hickey on one leg. Gwilt outstretched. Smith did well. Pushed him, shoved him. Got it onto the boot. Curled it. Back towards full forward, and that's an outstanding result for the Giants.
I don't know about Jeremy Cameron. I don't know if there's something wrong with him, but he had his back to play. He didn't lead. They were looking for him. He was one out. One of the rare opportunities to have a one-on-one contest, and he just didn't look like he really wanted to get involved.
Oh, that boundary throw and fell short. Good smother from Scully. Again, he's gone to ground. Cameron paddled it out. Addison, Armitage, well trapped initially by Cornelio, then he tried to just parry it out.
Well, he didn't drag it in, so he shouldn't get pinged.
I know what you mean with Cameron as well, because normally if he's in that situation where he's one out, he's bursting as hard as he can to get to the goal square, then he creates the space coming back into it, or they normally go long over the top to him.
Giles tried to hit it out into the open territory. Converged on Devon Smith. Oh, Nathan Wright had to get ball to boot. He did, but just hacked it back to Heath Shaw. And he's going to send it in a very indiscriminate fashion into the 50.
It just got up off the ground after getting cleaned up before. And this would be number 5 for Devon Smith.
That's your line.
He's looking for the high contact free kick there, probably a little bit there. And he gets up and look what happens. That is great footage.
Yeah.
So Devon Smith with 4 goals under his belt. This is most important of all.
Kick.
And he goes back and coolly and calmly slots it. And the Giants within 4.
Dare I say it, we did expect a bit of this, and now a bit of push and shove as well. There's a lot of feeling in this one. Both teams desperate to start the season 2-0. And just the way the whole game had gone, you had to think, even though St Kilda had momentum and then broke away, you thought at some stage they might come back, GWS.
Well, that's it, and they're led by their first gamer in this last quarter as well. Josh Kelly, 5 disposals, Smith with 4 and a goal now. So a couple of the younger players once again standing up for the Giants.
Not a lot of respect shown by Devon Smith to Lenny Hayes after he kicked that goal either. Previous best was 4 goals, so career best 5 now for Devon Smith. What an afternoon at the footy we're enjoying. Montagna since the Saints forward, and Riewoldt can't get on the end of it, at least not yet. Some uncertainty between the Giants. Haynes, Green to the voice, back again. On the back foot here though. Takes the conservative route along the wing. Hickey, going to get a free for that.
Took his eyes off the footy, Jonathan Giles. Just needed a contest there, and look at, he's limping, Hickey. He doesn't look good.
He'll want a handball, you would think.
He was desperate to give that off then. Still probably will.
And he does.
Well, it's even big for next week too, with West Coast having so many bigs in their line.
That's a commanding effort in the air from Reece Stanley. When he's good, he's very good.
Yeah, and look, he gets an opportunity now to do something constructive. He's had a pretty quiet day. We saw him drop a sitter on at the other end of the ground in the last quarter, but that's a good, strong mark. He needs to go back and kick it.
Leon Cameron not quite looking his relaxed, composed self right at the moment. The emotions of footy really stirring up at the halfway point of the last quarter. All these kicks for goal, so vital. Stanley can't deliver. So tell us more about that, Jason.
Well, he ran right of his target. He kicked it exactly where he ran. I mean, it's a fundamental that a lot of players get wrong.
Footy at full back. Curtly Hampton issuing some instructions to go with the kick, but there's nothing there for them. Whitfield had to fly. He knew it at the last moment. He did it brilliantly. Kelly, in his first game, he looks like a real player, which should be of no surprise.
Patton's gone down behind play.
Off the ball.
Cameron with the ball. Giles is deep. Mumford's got himself down there as well. He's going to fall short of all. Got out the back. Scully.
It's probably a win for GWS because they didn't have any really good options to go to. St Kilda had numbers back. They get a chance to lock it in now.
Delaney and Patton at the top of the goal square. Mumford tried to give them a chance to run on. It's good tackling from Armitage. Green got the hands free, but it's all St Kilda there. He just fed it straight out to the Saints, and Riewoldt, fresh from coming off the bench, makes a rare mistake. Haynes, he had some short options, took an eternity to get rid of it.
That's a dreadful kick,
isn't it?
A really, really poor kick.
Jones takes the mark. You get the feeling there's going to be some more mistakes between now and the end too.
Yeah,
the stress and the strain of it all.
Perhaps whoever keeps their composure the best, makes the right decisions at the right times, will win the game.
Montagna with the up and under. Riewoldt with 2 to go against. Stanley got rid of a few on the way. Armitage took on Hampton, and well done from Curtly Hampton, but equally well done from Armitage. He's gained 15-20 metres. Quick handball was the right thing to do from Josh Hunt. And now the Giants can scurry across half-back through Canelio. He's looking for more through the middle. Green is the man that dug deep and was able to offer him something. Quick handball. Acceleration, Kennedy bombs it up.
Didn't look. So that's that composure we're talking about. Bombing away doesn't get it done.
Now Hayes gets it across from Dempster and kicks to half forward again. They're outnumbered. Somehow Hickey was able to break even for a moment. Free kick paid and no advantage. Ended up being not a bad free kick because it held things up, but not for too long, as you can see. Back in the middle to Canelio. Now Cal Ward stretching out. Will he think about going for it? He decides to handball. Scully, time to aim it up. But
he's got to finish that.
But.
You know, it was the best option from Callum Ward. Neither of the forwards got the perfect lead in. So he drew, he gave Scully time to line it up from 40. Expected a better finish from Tom Scully.
Yeah, you have to nail that. When you've got time and space around you inside forward fifth, you're expected to put that straight over the guy umpire's hat.
Reece Stanley loose again here.
He's worked hard to get there.
I think he lost it to the mark. I think the Suns creating a few issues there.
Plowman have been able to use their surplus numbers across half-back, haven't they, GWS? Continuously in the last 10 minutes. Oh, what a time to lose your footing. Treacherous stuff for Heath Shaw. Josh Hunt tried to ride him over the top, Dunstan. Quick hands, good hands. Back to Shaw. Rectify the situation. Oh, Hampton. They dodge one there. The Giants out of trouble, I say, with some hesitation. Frost gives it plenty.
Oh, catch that.
Loops it up. Patton, can he hang on? No, not yet. Coming through Nunes. Bit of volleyball. Good smother from Kelly. Jones. Oh, Kelly. What a start to his career. Big tackle.
That's exactly what he'll get next week as a start. Josh Kelly.
Let him run, guys.
He's been good since he's come on, hasn't he?
Mumford thumps it out wide. There's Saunders. You heard the call. Savage slapped it back. Hampton has been influential. Charging along that wing.
Good kick.
Yeah, Treloar. On the brink here, Treloar. Maybe closer to goal. And, Patton almost. Oh, and he's hit the post, I think.
Well, he should have marked the ball to start with. We're just seeing errors under pressure at the moment. It's fascinating to watch who can hold their head and just make the right choice and execute at the right time.
Crowd of just under 20,000 at Etihad Stadium. Gwilt goes for Stanley. Mumford arrived late and just crunched him.
See what he is doing, Reece Stanley. He's hitting good spaces, using his athleticism and giving them an outlet kick just about every time now.
Hands up.
Oh, it's been an exhausting affair. And they've got to dig deep for the last 7.5 to go again. Mumford with the physical edge. Hayes with all that experience summed it up well. And was able to share it with Saunders, who delayed the give, but eventually it came. Low ball onto the wing, it's all Giants. Plowman stripped of it. Saunders got a little handball up and under. Stanley not quite as clean as he would have liked. Kennedy goes charging through. Meister, Dunstan all over him. The umpire says it's mine.
That's good. Both teams body lining the ball again, and we saw that at the end of the third quarter where the pressure was just immense from both teams.
Throw up on the wing. Cornelio. Out to Green, the next in line, Hampton, and then Smith. He's got no one to give it to. Had to go back, find some more behind. Oh, dangerous kick. Oh, Mumford, too strong. Green, Patton bolting back towards the goal square. Saints well positioned defensively though. Bug, it's going to take something special from Patton. He got crashed to the ground. Cameron caught. Saints doing terrific job back there. Scully against Ray. Hammer and tong, almost a throw. Patton, another opportunity. Another one goes begging.
Oh,
and the
he
ball
lost
is
his
out of
boot as well.
This is fantastic stuff. Two teams that don't quite have the polish to finish the other off, but the desperation.
Patton's just going to throw the boot to the trainer. Don't worry about doing it up now.
Kane
Get involved.
Smith is having a day out, but that one doesn't
That's
strike.
where he should have been, in the goal square.
Quick kick.
Oh, well read. Took front spot. Really, really good play.
So Frost takes the mark, kicks it up. Anyone can get it. Mumford tapped it down. Devon Smith, the go-to man. Addison, where's that headed? Straight up and down on the spot.
Mumford
Mumford go again. Delaney.
What an effort from Mumford.
Chaotic stuff at the top of the square. Treloar. It's made for a hero, these situations. They've got sheer numbers, sheer manpower, and they somehow can't get a goal.
Shane Mumford ran back with the fly of the ball, nearly poleaxed everybody, including himself. This is huge.
They might win this through points, James.
Well, the way they're going, they've just locked it down, Moons, haven't they?
Well, this is what we didn't see for the last 18 months. We couldn't see it for the last 18 months because they were so young and so raw and they get bashed around. Now we're seeing them play, stay in games for so much longer.
A lot of players out there can barely lift their legs too.
They are out on their feet. Meister, but
you got to pay that man in front, I would have thought.
Mumford got it. There's a giant down. Kennedy is hurt.
Gee, that's a bad miss from Toby Green again by hand that time. He finds the ball so often, he's just got to be cleaner with it.
Leon Cameron hits the phone. 2 points the difference at Etihad Stadium. Stanley out positioned, out foxed by Mumford, but the tap was read by Montagna. Confronted by Kelly, couldn't get enough on it. Treloar had a little glance, like what he saw. Top of the square needs a bounce and a half, and they're doing it by minors at the moment.
Nearly there, Moons, as you said. They just keep creating opportunities. Talk about momentum. But you know what? One goal from St.Kilda will nearly break them.
It could.
Could change everything, and it could come soon.
But we did see last night as well that you could get a goal and a bit in front. Doesn't matter.
Gee, that was sloppy by Heath Shaw.
To Riewoldt. And he's got Jones running for him. They'll come from the other angle.
Oh, massive contest.
Last man standing, Clint Jones.
Oh, no,
kick. Fantastic kick. Shocking, but brilliant.
He shanked it and it went to a teammate. Now, can Eli Templeton, one of the youngest players out there, the least experienced players out there, as he gets a word from David Armitage, can he just compose himself and kick straight? Because this could be a crushing blow for GWS. Oh, wow.
In just his second game of football, Eli Templeton,
looking for a celebration.
Young fella from Tassie. Still 4 minutes to go, but what a critical kick, and he knows it, and he nails it. Oh, the Saints take the advantage.
And that's the difference. Just a little bit of composure in front of goal. That might have been a lucky opportunity, but he made the most of it, and that's all that matters as we get down to the dying moments of this game.
Look, Mason might get the Bronx cheers every now and then, but that's just attacking the contest. That's competing. And that's what it's about. Luck in the end.
He was looking for a different teammate.
Yeah,
a different teammate that he's missed. He's missed by about 20 metres.
Not in his review, he's not.
Well, they lead by 7, but the way this game has transpired today, there could be more.
It ain't over.
There could be more in this story to tell. 3 minutes 50 here at Etihad Stadium. They've got the advantage in the middle. Montagna.
Dropped it.
Yeah, play on the call. Ward threw it out. Canelio couldn't escape. Savage didn't go too far. Green tracked it through the air, took the mark. Wants to move it quickly, and now he does. Strolled away laconically. Kicked it to half forward. Patton came. Delaney off the chest. Gwilt out of bounds. 3 minutes 20.
Still time. They still need to show some composure. They're bombing it long, and St Kilda have been able to get the best defensive position to create the spoil. They still need to show some composure, the Giants.
Canelio. Mumford searching, hoping.
Wrong option.
And Hayes takes it out.
Oh, nearly deliberate. Just ran it over nicely, Lenny.
Saints by... Sorry, Jay. Saints by 7. 3 minutes 15 now on the clock.
He's hobbling too. Lenny Hayes, he might have a bit of cramp setting in.
There's a lot of sore bodies out there.
Down.
Stanley over the top with a tap. Mumford.
It's been good, Mumford.
Out to Green. Haven't been able to really take a grab for a long time inside the forward 50. And again, it's a problem for them. Dempster takes the mark.
He played for the free kick, Dylan Addison.
He has the last couple of times the ball's come his way.
Kick goes back out to halfback. Frost and the hustle and bustle somehow got over all their heads to Montagna. He's told just to settle it down. Happy to oblige. I think he's going to go down the line. Hickey, the target, and Riewoldt comes as well. Was there interference? No. 2 minutes 36. Jonathan Giles standing on the bench, screaming and trying to get someone off.
All the forwards for the Giants have come up. If they clear, get it running back towards the goal. Farron raised the spare for St Kilda. Looks like Kennedy might be the spare for GWS at the other end of the ground.
So they push Giles forward. There he is, just come on the ground, and they can get it down there. Ward, he does get it down there. Giles not going to be in the contest. Patton, they're outnumbered again. It's been crucial that in this last quarter.
But you got to credit St Kilda's defence.
Yep, you do.
They have stood tall. They have completely outplayed Patton and Cameron, and they've made sure that they don't contest against the loose player, like we saw Farron Ray take an uncontested mark there. They've separated them, they've bodied them, they've done particularly well.
Gwilt at halfback. We're under 2 minutes now for the Saints. Can they keep their hands on the footy? Long to half forward. Riewoldt. Dunstan. Kennedy's claimed him. Umpire next to touch the footy.
So they've just got to chew clock whenever they can, the Saints.
Feeling helpless now, Leon Cameron. Saints fans, they're pumped. Unexpectedly, they could be 2-0 at the start of the season. Out on the full.
They've got to go. They've got to run.
If he gets the footy.
Jace, they've got to run now. Get out Scully on this side.
No, he's going to run straight back into the congestion. Kick it up along the wing. Dempster's controlled the airwaves. Kelly, now there's a chance. Addison had to sum it up. Got the handball moving through half forward. Canelio had a little look. It's a rush kick, but again,
it's just no distance on that left side of the body.
Yeah, wrong side of the body. Probably tried to do something he was incapable of doing, and needed to probably hold it up, look for another teammate.
Jones down the line. A couple of more marks and almost do it for the Saints. Oh, that's deliberate.
Well, it has to be.
That is deliberately out of bounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he knows it.
Someone's got to take the ball. Get it going.
There's nothing else he could do.
No, not yours. Hold on. No.
He's just been interchanged, and the umpire wants him to come back and take the kick.
Hang on. There's confusion.
You're on. You've got to take it.
So who came on to replace him? Does he have to come back on?
Doesn't really matter who takes it.
Exactly.
How many guys they got on at the moment?
It'd only matter if it was a shot for goal.
Kick goes into the 50.
Look,
I think you're right.
I think they've got too many on.
They have got too many on.
Yeah.
It's not their fault,
No,
though.
it's not.
They've just called one off.
Here we go. Hampton's come off now.
That
They've
is
worked it out. That's
bizarre.
fine too.
So thrown up on the 50. They need a score straight away. They need either a goal or a point and then get it from full back.
No, I think they've done enough, the Saints.
Well, it certainly looks that way now. 32 seconds.
And they deserve it. They deserve it. I mean, they've been fantastic. And we saw them celebrate after the win over Melbourne. I reckon they'll be just as happy with this performance.
Oh, yeah, even more so almost. Mumford gets it down. Scully, haphazard kick up towards the 50. It's not going to be enough for the Giants. Gilbert, not sure why he played on, but now they can run.
Just hold it.
Soon the arms will be in the air. Nick Riewoldt in no hurry. We saw an amazing expression from Nick Riewoldt on the siren last week. He's kicked this out on the full, but he won't care in a moment because St Kilda are going to triumph in a real struggle here.
Did he blow out on the full? That's out on the full. Outside. Straight back.
An exhausting game at Etihad Stadium. Two young teams. In the end, the Saints have had the answers, and the Saints take the points. A grueling affair at Etihad Stadium, and they're 2-0 at the start of the year, and there's smiles everywhere from St Kilda. $15,595 to $13,1088. It was an amazing third quarter, or the second half of the third quarter, that really saw the Saints get on top, and despite the best efforts of the Giants, proved to be decisive in the end.
Gee, they were thoroughly deserved of this victory, I think, St Kilda. And I've paid the penalty once again for tipping with my heart and not my head. Should have gone with St Kilda at home, down here. And still, they've got to learn to win away, GWS. Just as they're starting to win games of footy, it's okay, but most of them on their home turf, or in New South Wales or down in Canberra. Let's go down to Cam Mooney on the ground.
Thanks, Jace. Down here with captain Nick Riewoldt. Best on ground again today, mate. Absolutely sensational game. Mate, how did it feel just being out there, and how did it go today?
Yeah, it's an exciting start for the year for us. We know we've got plenty to work on and a really young group, but gee, they're hungry to learn and they have a great crack. And as supporters, I think everyone should be really proud of the effort. It's only 2 weeks, and we understand that, but it's a good start.
I guess a lot of people had you guys, sitting down the bottom of the ladder, but 2-0 at the start of the year. It's a fantastic way to go.
Yeah, and it's more the way we've gone about it. Our tackle pressure and willingness to apply team defence has been a real feature. We've still got a bit of tidying up to do with the ball, but Richo's mandate's pretty clear, and that's to give great effort. Especially around the defensive indicators, and we were superb again today.
Even a couple of young guys, and Eli Templeton, just late, just the composure of the young fellas tonight.
Bit of a cult figure, Eli, isn't he? He's got those locks, but the young guys have been super, 2 weeks in a row. Lukey Dunstan and Jack Billings went back to the VFL, and he'll get a full game, so it's the future's looking bright for St Kilda fans, I guess.
Well, really, mate, great start to the year, great start for you personally, mate, well done.
Thanks, mate.
Yes, thank you, Moons. 2 best on-ground performances in successive weeks for that man on your screen, Nick Riewoldt. Sensational start to the season as St Kilda continues its rebuilding process, but an exciting win today to get home by 7 points. An absolute thriller from Etihad Stadium in front of a crowd of just over 20,000. But now our attention turns to the Adelaide Oval. It's going to be a history-making day. The first showdown ever at Adelaide Oval, and just the second AFL match. There was one in 2011 against Port Adelaide and Melbourne, which Port won in a couple of kicks. One man who's going to be perhaps more excited than most others is the boss of the Port Adelaide Footy Club. We know him pretty well, David Koch. He's with Dwayne Russell.
David, thanks for joining me. It's been a long road, but it's happened finally.
Isn't it amazing? 2009, this was first proposed, huge controversy. People said it would never happen. Brett Duncanson at the time, Mark Hazeman, the chief executive, Brett the president, said we had to get Port Adelaide back to Adelaide Oval for the good of the club. We wouldn't survive if we didn't come here, and it's just a historic day. It's amazing.
It is a sea of teal at the moment, but it's not just a big day for Port Adelaide, is it?
Oh, not at all. It's a big day for South Australian sport and also the Crows and ourselves. This week we became our own independent clubs. Licences were signed over. We have our first game here at Adelaide Oval. For both clubs, this is a really historic week for us, and we'll go down in the annals.
Is it living up to expectations for you? When you look around, is it what you expected it to be?
Well, apparently we had 15,000 supporters march from Rundle Mall across the footbridge here. The city's alive. It's like South Australia's grand final, isn't it?
Absolutely. We're looking at the march now. It's phenomenal to think this could happen.
Yeah, it is incredible and great for the city. And I've got to say, for interstaters, come to Adelaide with your team this year. You are going to have such a great experience here at the stadium, and then go and visit the wineries and the restaurants, the rest of it. You know, it's going to be a great destination for all AFL fans.
And finally, it's been a long road, obviously, with the Saka and some arguments with the SANFL, but were there handshakes today?
There were handshakes today, and, you know, it has been a rocky road. South Australian football politics are a bit different, but we got there in the end. And it's just this unified view that South Australia is a big beneficiary. So it's wonderful. And the footy gods are smiling. Well
Absolutely.
done.
Congratulations, and you are in the lap of the gods now.
Exactly. Thank you, mate.
Thanks, David.
Two very excited, good old Port boys there, David Koch and Dwayne Russell, on this history-making day in South Australia as the revamped Adelaide Oval has opened its doors once again to football in the form of the 36th showdown between Port Adelaide and the Adelaide Crows. We're going to take a break, and of course, speaking of famous men from Adelaide, there's one known affectionately as Knuckles. That's Neil Curley, and he's on open mic.
So I saw the captains would like to have State of Origin back again, which I think would be great for the fans and everything, but who knows? Who knows? But you wouldn't have the Victorian stronghold this time because there's so many players from the other states that are playing in the AFL now.
You've got to move on, mate. Look, we were just the superior team. You can live with that. You don't have
you were way back then.
You don't have to be best
but
at
you're
everything.
not now.
You were jealous of Whitten, weren't you?
I wasn't jealous of Whitten at all. I admired him greatly. I thought he was great. I really was. He was not only a great player, but a great guy.
Mr. Football.
Mr. Football.
Were you envious of that?
Only Victoria was that.
Oh, that's right. You're King Curly, wasn't it? Yeah.
Hope you're enjoying Saturday Live on Fox. It's a history-making day in South Australia with the new look Adelaide Oval presenting itself to the world for showdown number 36 between Port Adelaide and the Adelaide Crows. Should be an absolute beauty, and it's coming away right around Australia on Fox Footy. We had that interview with Dwayne Russell and also Kochie, and I said I didn't know who was more excited. I still don't. We've lost Kochie, but we've still got Dwayne, who I'm sure is looking forward to a great afternoon. 28 degrees over there, Dwayne, and a history-making day. It's great for all South Australians, and it's great in particular for football.
Yeah, it's just fantastic as a lover of sport to be here, Sandy. It is a pleasure, and it is the biggest day ever in South Australian sporting history. And I know the cricket lovers will tell you Don Bradman's 299 not out back in 1932 was big. And I know the first Grand Prix here, I was here for it, and that was a massive day for this town as well. And the last Grand Prix drew 550,000, so over 500,000 people, with 210,000 on the race day itself. But this is huge. So it was a long time in the building, this stadium, and they finally got it up and running. Finally a marriage between cricket and football in this state, and it's going to be a full house and probably an AFL record crowd for South Australia today.
Dwayne, just quickly to give viewers an idea of the ground itself, it is relatively slim. Is it not unlike Simmons Stadium?
Very much like Simmons Stadium, Sandy, so it's narrower than the MCG, but it's longer. It's about 17 metres narrower and about 7 odd metres longer than the MCG, so it has got that perfect oval shape. And Simmons Stadium, the wings are actually squared off, whereas the wings stay a little wider here, so it is a true football oval here.
Capacity crowd expected today?
They can fit 53,000 here, 50,000 seated, and maybe 3,000 when you count the babies that'll come in on knees. They're hoping for about 53.5, which would be an AFL SA record.
Dwayne, we'll be with you shortly. Have a great afternoon and a great call.
Looking forward to it. Thanks.
Dwayne Russell at the new look Adelaide Oval, and we'll be joining him very, very shortly. But time now to recap St Kilda's thrilling 7-point win over the GWS Giants. Started off, didn't it, Lynchy, as somewhat of a shootout?
Yeah, it did, but started off in the rooms with young Josh Kelly, the number 2 draft pick from last year, being awarded his first jumper for the Giants. And then speaking about Giants, there's a big man, big Jonathan Giles, just slots one through for his first. And then what about this? Not sure it's in the job description from David Armitage, but takes an absolute monster hang and goes back and slots that one through beautifully. So a really good reply from the Saints. And then this man, Devon Smith, around the body. He was very potent through 60 seconds, kicking 2 goals, 1. Farron Ray on the left from the boundary line gets that through, and at quarter time the Saints are up by 4 points. And then Hickey. Sometimes you're not overly confident with Big Tom from the top of the goal square, but from the boundary line he slots that one through. And then again, Devon Smith, his 3rd goal. And at half-time, it's the Giants by 8.
Into the 3rd quarter, Lynchy, and the Devon Smith show continued up forward. It was goal number 4, and the Giants were looking good at this stage. The Saints needed something, and they found it in the form of Eli Templeton, cutting the margin back to 8 points. Nick Riewoldt had a sensational opening game, and he was in the thick of things again today, and he had his kicking boots on. That goal cut the margin back to just 2.
And then the last term started with Devon Smith having his best game for the Giants in his short career. That's his 5th. He was amongst everything. A couple of GWS misses just was starting to build on the frustration from the coach's box. 11 inside 50s from their last goal started to build the pressure. Just could not get the ball over the line through the big sticks. And then again, at the other end, frustrations. On that one, should have been a goal. I think that was Hunt on the left, or Tom Scully. Just an errant kick from Scully, who was working hard but just couldn't finish off his good work. The other end of the ground. Here we go. I don't think Clint Jones is going to claim that as a lace-out pass. That off the right ankle, but Eli Templeton, the young boy from Tassie in game 2, off the rookie list, belts that one through, and the Saints are well and truly in the game. And then final siren. 7-point victors on the back of some great work from some of the youngsters, and that man on screen there, Nick Riewoldt. And that
a delighted Nick Riewoldt. Happy to have Joey Montagna back.